Thursday night travel talk with Spidey. Hopefully, you can hear me all. Hear me? Let's hope. Oh, hey, welcome. Uh, Hello, Rod Thunderheart. Great to see you, my friend. Welcome, Rod Thunderheart. How's it? Hopefully, you can hear me. Hopefully, the volume is okay, everybody. Miskatonic Madman. Hello, and welcome to you. Good to see you. And our friend William Shakespeare. Is it drink 30 already? It only got dark an hour ago here in the Great Northwest. Yep, same here. It just got dark just a little while ago. So good to have you here, and it is already drink 30. It is. Oh, loud and clear. Excellent. Thank you, Miss Tonic Badman. Thank you, DJ Play Nice. Fantastic. And welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Rod Thunderheart. Fantastic. And William Shakespeare says, my favorite lesson in the Middle Ages, I put 3, 4 ice cubes in my beer these days. And frozen fruit ice cube too. Adds flavor, helps me hydrate, and keeps partying longer. That is a good hydration. That's pretty good. I like ice cubes, especially flavored, definitely, especially in summer. Uh, the colors in the photo were not exaggerated. The everyday clothes people wear there in India, especially the women, are very colorful. Yes. Oh, let's get right to the photos. Hey, Sean Carter. Hello, the sci-fi model guy. Welcome to you, Sean Carter. Welcome and thanks. Let us let us uh, share this right here. Here we go. All right. So this is in Calcutta. This is this is a quick bus, Calcutta, Kolkata. It's spelled with a K over there, and it looks like it's from the 40s. Honestly, this was public transportation over there. It's just amazing. Oh, okay. Uh, thanks. Thanks. William Shakespeare says, "Pre-warning, Spidey, your voice is fading in and out." Okay, I will make a point of eating the microphone then. Thanks for telling me. I appreciate that. Hopefully it's all right. Hopefully it's not just my my voice. It's not. But yeah, this was incredible. Calcutta is really poor city. So I'm sure everyone's familiar. It's famous because of Mother Teresa going there and helping the poor, the desperately poor people in Calcutta. And I saw it with my own eyes. The guy on the bus, I'm not even sure he's wearing shoes. Uh, I'm pretty sure he's not wearing shoes. Uh, yeah, I'm sure he's not wearing shoes. But yeah, you see just abject poverty, and also I saw really nice sports cars too. In the same, yeah, right in the same little area. So, um, yeah, unbelievable, unbelievable. But just vibrant, incredible life there. I'll tell you that much. So here again is Calcutta, and just lots of people, lots of vibrant, um, people just living their life, um, going around, living their life and just getting work done and loved it. It was just amazing. Absolutely loved it. So, yeah, just totally different than I see here in my daily life. Um, just people waiting around to go places here. Looks like a bunch of trucks, and looks like people were loading up with supplies, and we're just loading up on these vehicles on the right hand side and going places. Yeah, this is Calcutta, and Again, I'm not sure that dude is wearing shoes, in the foreground there. And yeah, how would this is again, Calcutta. How would you like that taxi? How would and I don't know if you can see, but, uh, everyone in that vehicle had stuff on their laps, crammed in. That that's it. I was a taxi, took that photo myself in, yeah, in Calcutta, just amazing. Hopefully, you can hear me. Miskatonic Madman says, "Sean Carter, hope the power is restored soon. Glad to hear you and your family are okay." Yes, absolutely. Glad to hear you're both okay, and, hopefully you have power, the power of Grayskull, hopefully help you. If nothing else, Miskatonic Madman, thank you. We're all good, have an awesome community here, and great neighbors. What we have now is a minor inconvenience. Many others close by are far worse off. And that is a right attitude, Sean Carter. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Sean Carter, hope the damage isn't too extensive. People are uninjured, said Skitonic Madman. Yeah, same here. Absolutely. Uh, that sentiment is goes out from all of us to you, Sean Carter, and your community. So, yeah, this is just normal life in Calcutta, guys. People just packing whatever crap they could to go to market, I suppose. These people were just taking their wares somewhere. Oh, that is good to hear. Sean Carter says, thankfully and miraculously, no injuries or deaths. Well, that's fantastic. That is really good to hear, Sean Carter. Good. No deaths or injuries. Yeah. This is again, um, this was, I believe, still in use. I don't know, if anyone has an idea of what century this vehicle is from. Please put it out in chat, but, I have no idea, how old this vehicle is or whether it's homemade. It could possibly be a homemade vehicle here, but I just like the look of it, in Calcutta there, and I just thought it was really unique. You'd get pulled over pretty quick, I think, driving that around in Canada, but, there you can take it. Oh, yeah. Really interesting vehicles. Yeah, really quite old. Oh, there you go. If you're a little squeamish about going to bathrooms, that aren't pristine, well, you might have a hard time there. Yeah, that's a lot of okay, so here again, this was, in near the bridge in Calcutta, or Kolkata, and, it's the Howrah Bridge, Howrah, Howrah Bridge in Kolkata, and oh, yeah, William Shakespeare says, that was an early model Tesla, and William Shakespeare, if you wanna come on up and go through these with me, you are more than welcome, sir. If you're curious about India or you want to comment on any of these pictures, please feel free. That is an early model Tesla. That is a yep. There you go, folks. India's, first Teslas, and there we go. Yeah, that wasn't you had to get used to that. You got used to a lot. I think I could get used to jail now, but I wanna find out. Mind you, opinions on Trudeau, who knows who might knock on my door come look. So yeah, again, this is near the bridge in Calcutta. And hello, hey, Suzanne. Hello and welcome to you. I saw you in the chat earlier today or earlier this week anyway, a chat, you know, a stream that we both, a fellow that we both, follow, I don't know by the name of Clyde. He's, I like Clyde. Hello, everyone saying hello. to Suzanne Epstein. Spider-Man, if you make me a mod for 2 minutes, I can drop the link for tomorrow. Oh, I can absolutely do that. Suzanne, in fact, I can make you a mod for more than 2 minutes. How about that? Let's see. Here we go. And done. Thank you for the offer. There you go. You are now blue. Thanks for that. And please, yes, yes, please do that. Okay. So, yeah, this is again, um, this is Calcutta, and just unbelievable. Um, yeah, flowers everywhere. I believe they were for religious purposes. The flowers. Um, and thank you very much for volunteering, Suzanne Epstein. I appreciate. I'm a mod myself on a few channels. It's work. I do appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed, the work of moderators, as far as I'm concerned, so thanks. And, yeah, there you go. So there's Calcutta, and you see just unbelievable things in Calcutta that I didn't see with the extremes in Calcutta that I never saw anywhere else in India to that extent. And yeah, thanks, William Shakespeare Spielberg. Wonderful. And, yeah, it's just unbelievable, the poverty. But also, I did see wealth. I did see sports cars in Calcutta, and believe it or not, um, the one person that doesn't like Mother Teresa, who's famous, of course, for working with the people of Calcutta, impoverished, the poor people in Calcutta. One person doesn't like Mother Teresa. Can anyone in the chat, guess as to who that is? Who that might be? The one person in, in the world that doesn't like, Mother Teresa. And ooh, okay. Sean Carter says, "Canadian from your travels, would you say that you feel more appreciative of where you live? Is it more of a feeling of wonderment at how people can live so very differently?" Uh, I both. It's absolutely both. I appreciate where I live for the space. I lived in Tokyo for a while. I know those are limited options, so feel free to elaborate. Oh, thanks, Sean Carter. Um, yeah, I mean, I lived in Tokyo for a while, and you really don't get a chance to be alone, that much. Whereas here in Canada, you can walk down a lot of streets in a lot of towns, and you can virtually be by yourself. Even in the bigger cities, I've experienced that in even Vancouver. Whereas in places like Tokyo and a lot of Asia, you just never get to be, um, by yourself. In India, for example. Yeah, that's just amazing, folks. This is just everyday life in Calcutta. And, and I guess also I was in wonderment because, you know, definitely through India being so different, and even I worked with many people in hotels in Whistler, with Indian and Pakistani, staff, worked with them, socialized with them, but, being over there and China as well, and, uh, being in Asia and Central America as well, just really different ways of life, and I absolutely, it's a wonder. It is a feeling of wonderment at how people live, and our adaptability is incredible. I do appreciate where I live, Sean Carter, that I do have the space, but I also feel like I'm lacking a lot of. I mean, we're kinda in the backwater of the world here in BC. It's not nearly as exciting as, Bangkok or Hong Kong, for example, or Manila or Mexico City. Yeah, William, I'm having trouble, getting X, to work. Is anyone else having issues with X, or is it just me? Because it comes up and then it does the circle of death and it just spirals and spirals even when I go to their homepage. So something's going up with X, I hear, William. I don't know what's going on there. Uh, weird. But okay. Oh, fantastic. Uh, so I'm pretty happy to have had the chance to go and see other places like India. I mean, I worked hard, saved up the money, spent all my own. No one paid paid my way there. It was all my own savings. But I do feel fortunate to live in a place like. But I do feel like, I mean, beaches, we don't have tropical beaches like in Thailand, we are missing out on some things, and it's a little slow and quiet back here. Hail, Canadian Spider-Man. Sorry, some ideas popped in my head and I jumped on my book. Oh, good. Excellent, Rod Thunderheart. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Excellent. Hello. No problems. Well, you can drop it here, I think, and then pull it after a minute. I will do. Yeah, you got it, man. Right here. There you go, William Shakespeare. So, yeah, and again, these flowers in Calcutta, I think they do have a religious purpose, and who there's always a religious holiday coming up, so perhaps people will bring them for that. But and here, this sign, this sign was put up by the government in Calcutta, and it just says something, doesn't it, folks? That they felt the need that they had to have a sign like that. Female child is an asset. It's like they have to convince people of that, I guess. Um, Yeah, very, very strange that they would need to have that sign, but, that is that is too bad. It's a weird sign. I just thought it was wow, you wouldn't see that, need for a sign like that in Canada, would you? But in Calcutta, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Well, because, I mean, because over there, they need male sons to do the hard labor, and in the fields, the physical labor. If a male child is gonna be a better laborer, sadly, so I guess that's why that policy now fortunately, things are changing. This was a little while ago, so this was a good 15 years, so hopefully things are changing there. And this fella, he had a machete in his hands, and he was, chopping away coconuts there, and he had all his fingers, he had his thumbs, he didn't appear to have any injuries there, so. Oh, yeah, got it. Uh, yeah, bit of a brain fart there, William. There you go. Concentrating on a few different things here. Yes. Hey, Stark of Iron. Ahoy to you. Hello. Hey, great to hear you. Uh, Sean Carter says, I think it speaks wonders of how we are as humans, how we can adopt to things so well. We are such a truly diverse species. It's a shame we have become so tribal. It comes in waves, and I think when times get easy, people maybe do invent problems. Being one of them. All right, I just switched to different earphones, so hopefully I didn't lose you. Hopefully everyone can still hear me with these earphones now. Um, Please let me know if you can't. So yeah, it was. Hello, India. The one person that didn't really like Mother Teresa was the mayor of Calcutta. The mayor of Calcutta wasn't a fan of Mother Teresa because she gave everyone the impression that Calcutta was just absolutely impoverished and just dismal and a hellhole, like a poor city. There's actually some beautiful things in Calcutta. I mean, look at the street life is amazing, and the fresh fruit. Hopefully, everyone can still hear me. Hello. Oh, hi. Hello. Y2CD. Hello to you. Hello, William Shakespeare. Hello to you. Hello.
Hey, hey.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello, William I can. There's a slight echo in the background, however.
Sorry about that.
Can you hear me? All right. Thank you, Sean Carter. Thank you, Suzanne XT.
There sure is.
Yeah, great. So yeah, this was a typical market street scene in Calcutta, and the fruit was so fresh over there. Yeah, that man in the blue shirt is holding a papaya, and I don't know if you've had papaya fresh, but or fruit in general fresh from the tropics. I'm sure you've sampled a little bit. William Shake Spielberg, and thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. There is something strange going on. The StreamYard took almost a minute to load up.
It could be the internet here. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you might be right. But just was a guess. Yeah, you sound actually better here from my point of view here than you do in the actual YouTube video.
YouTube versus
yeah, shoot. It's not your mic either. It's something. It seems like something coming out with your connection.
With the internet. Yeah, that could be. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. And I was just speaking about how fresh when you buy fruit in the country, in the region where it's grown and it's allowed to ripen on the trees. I mean, it's just delicious, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Right.
And watermelons did not cost $100. No, more like 100 rupees. And William Shake Spielberg, would you like to see some rupees?
Do you have some left? You kept some?
I did. Oh yeah, look at this. So that
there you go with Gandhi.
That is a 5 rupee note.
Is that Mahatma Gandhi?
That is bingo. That is Mahatma Gandhi, and that is a 5 rupee note. And here, that's like a secret. There's a secret. Oh, I can see Gandhi's face. When I shine a light through it, I can see Gandhi's face. That's cool. Do I have a light? I do have a light. Hang on. Stand by.
While Spidey's doing that, folks, if anyone can just give me a check in the chat as to whether I sound okay. And also, if you hear the same kind of phasing in and out from me as you do with Spider-Man, that just might help us.
When I hold the light up, Gandhi's there. Can you see Gandhi?
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
And then when I take the light away, he disappears.
He goes solid. Wow. Neat.
And I've been in the garden, folks. I do wash my hands. I've been in the garden all day, okay? Give me a break. And that's a scene in India. And there's a sample of their writing.
The watermark must be, I wonder if that's some kind of a note protection, currency protection. Yeah.
I believe it would be. And here's a 10 rupee note, which is similar. But if you'll notice, this is the 10, and this is the 5. And of course, like most countries, the smaller denomination is physically smaller in size.
That's right. It's been a while. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Many countries are like that, where if it's a smaller denomination, the bill is physically smaller. I don't believe that's like that in Canada. I don't think.
Thanks, Sean and Susan Eckstein for confirming the audio.
I haven't. Yes, thank you. I haven't held many $100 bills in Canada recently, so.
I'm going to take a quick look at what the exchange rate is right now. When I was there, it was high 40s, but that was so long ago and could be drastically different now.
I was going to say, when were you? So you have been into India?
Twice. Yeah.
I thought you had been. I thought so.
Yeah, I found all my photos and video, and it's a lot. And so I that's another thing I want to go through and put together a kind of a show for you, and we can do it'll be a completely different part of the country where you are at. So the whole different set of things to see.
I was going to say, India is such an incredible country that it does take. It's going to take more than one show. Like many of the like Japan and like Spain, it will take more than one show to do. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to do a second show and have you on, and we can incorporate some of your photos as well. I'd be thrilled. I'd be honored if you
Oh
wanted to
my
do that.
gosh. The exchange right now is 83 rupees to the dollar. Boy, that is just sad.
Oh,
That
sad for
currency has
them.
just, you're right. That currency has just tanked. Let me close this door here.
Oh wow, what happened, India?
Well, I mean that was when I was there was
Rupee,
2008.
yes.
So that was a long time ago, but yeah, in that time, at the time though, truthfully though, actually, it's
Ooh.
probably not a fair comparison because the U.S. dollar was in a very low state at the time globally, and I remember being in Japan just the following year, and it was trading at 75 yuan, not yuan, 75 yen to the dollar. So everything was ridiculously
It was
expensive when I
ridiculous.
was right in
Right.
Japan, and so the same thing
Yeah.
would have actually been the case in India, is that it would have been a high point at the time for India.
Right.
India running 40. I remember being 46 to 48 rupees to the dollar, and that would have been
Wow.
strong for the rupee. So now, but the U.S. dollar right now is strong against every other currency in the world right now. So
Yes.
that's a whole different subject.
Right. I do remember it being about 30 some rupees Canadian. So it would have been to the dollar. So it
Sounds
would have
about
been
right.
40 something. But this was,
Yeah,
these pictures were taken in 2005. So we're going back about 19 or 18 or 19 years here.
we'll look at your Canadian dollar here while you're moving
Yeah.
on.
So, and this guy, I don't know what, I think it was like empty plastic jugs he was carrying, and maybe for recycling to get some money. But I just thought that was that's a lot to carry around on your head all day. But this was not so he's walking across the famous, the landmark bridge in Calcutta, and it's the Howrah Bridge in Calcutta. It is the bridge he's walking across, and I have a video of that bridge if you'd like to see it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let me.
While you're pulling that up right now, the Canadian dollar is trading at 60 and a half rupees to one Canadian dollar.
Oh wow!
So it sounds like it's a lot stronger than when you were there, which makes sense.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So this might be a little loud because this is the Howrah Bridge in Calcutta that we're going to see a quick video of with volume. Just be warned, folks. There's a lot of traffic and a lot of honking of horns in India. Like most of Asia, honking of the horns in Central America. That's just what they do. So be warned, it could be very honky. If you're a politician in Ottawa, you're going to freak out. If you're Trudeau, you're not going to like the honking, but tough luck. Here it goes.
It's the main bridge in Calcutta. And it's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, there you go. So I hope people enjoyed that. Hopefully the volume wasn't too loud. Hopefully they could hear.
Yeah, that turned out good. In fact, the honking, folks, is a lot more than what that video portrayed. It's you go back and play this on the replay. If you're standing there, it's nonstop in all directions.
Yep.
And Spidey, do you know why they honk like that? I bet you do, but I'm just thought I'd ask you.
Well, I know in some regions it's actually a law that every time you pass a pedestrian or a person on a bicycle that you're required as a driver to honk your horn.
It's a little more fundamental than that, actually. It's signaling.
No.
It's signaling.
Right.
They're all signaling their presence. And the odd thing is that the more time you spend in that kind of environment, you become very acquainted with it. And I can imagine if you pull somebody out of that environment into our environment where they're not honking, they'd probably freak out because there's cars all around us, and we're quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Hail, Stark of Iron. Hello, everybody. Drive crazy fast all day long until a cow lay down and stops traffic. Exactly. That's exactly correct. I have seen some videos of crazy intersections where traffic signs are seemingly optional, kind of scary. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Dadman Walking. Hello and hail to you. Fantastic. Good to see you here. Oh, yes. There you are right there. Good to see you. I'm sorry I missed you. And no, that is absolutely true. And Suzanne Eckstein says, Canadian Spider-Man, did you experience a cow stop traffic? I did but it was pedestrians in an alleyway. It slowed down pedestrian traffic. Cars just drive around a lot of the cows. I didn't see a group of them block the entire road. Not entirely. Do you know what this is, William Shakespeare? Will, I'm going to call you Will just
That's
for
for sure.
short.
That's fine. No, I don't think I recognize that. It looks like a pastry of some kind.
It certainly is. It's a donut. It's a cake donut soaked in like a it's soaked in like a liquid sugar glaze, and then on top is edible silver. And
Oh
edible
boy.
silver over there. And this is a bakery in that I got it at a shop in New Delhi. This is Delhi. There's Delhi and New Delhi, and they're Delhi is obviously a part of the whole big city, and New Delhi is a part of the bigger city of Delhi. But and this little baker, and this was a popular treat. It was a popular idea to just absolutely soak the cake pastry in like a liquid sugar, like inside and out, and then on top put some liquid silver, edible liquid silver, and it was a really it was weird to taste. It was interesting. It was like a frosting, but it doesn't taste metallic. It was like sometimes you can get decorative candy sprinkles that are silver colored or gold colored, and it tasted kind of like that. But definitely a, 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 a topping that made it look fancy and sort of royal, and it was definitely edibles like a silver. Yeah, it wasn't a frosting.
So
It
you
was
made
yeah,
you made
incredible.
a point to taste to just put your tongue right on that silver and see if it
You're
had any metallic and
yes,
nothing, huh? Yeah, interesting.
nothing.
That's wild.
No, yeah, but it was definitely an edible type of. It's not cheese, Suzanne Eckstein.
I've seen edible gold leaf on food,
Okay, um,
so I
or
guess
in
it's
Goldschlager. If you've had Goldschlager,
Goldschlager. Yes, right.
the
Yeah,
liqueur, okay.
yeah, yeah.
So this is the
It's
same
inside.
idea. This is
Yeah,
the same idea, but
interesting.
silver, and it
No, I
was
didn't.
delicious. So sweet,
Oh,
so sweet. And you know what? I bet you there are places in Canada because we do have a significant Indian population over here, and I don't mean native Indians like Mister Rod Thunderheart, but actually people from India. And I bet you, you can buy these over here. I bet you I've seen them. I just can't recall right now, but I bet you I've seen them in Vancouver. Yeah,
it's got to be somebody
fantastic.
making these. Yeah.
And this is the other thing. I guess that's probably yeah why. Um, I mean, there's a lot of heavy labor in India, and I guess you need a lot of guys. It's a good thing they have a lot of guys. Imagine that for your job. And I think there's rubber on those are wooden tires, no suspension on the thing, but I think there's little bits of rubber
Looks like
nailed
it.
on,
Mm.
yeah, for traction, but no suspension on the thing. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Do you mind reading this from our friend Suzanne Eckstein?
Suzanne Eckstein says, "Yes, we have edibles, silver and gold leaf for baking." And Where's Suzanne from right now? Is she talking
I,
about? Uh, I don't know if it's America, New Zealand,
she's no,
Australia.
she's from Canada. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
Canada.
from
Okay.
Western Canada. Yeah, she's just a couple of provinces over from me.
Oh, okay.
She's about about ooh, I'd say she's about a 20-hour drive from me, maybe a little less
Oh,
at 100K an hour. Yeah. Ooh, Pleasant Valley Picker. Hello to you, and I hope you're still celebrating your birthday week. I think it's been about a week. Happy birthday to you. BC has a huge South Asian population. Yes, indeed. and they can bake and cook. They've managed to import their traditional ingredients, and it's a pleasure to have Indian food in British Columbia. It really is. Usually, it's really quite good. Hello, hello, and welcome. So yeah, what do you think? I mean, have you ever done labor like that? I mean, that's insane. Have you ever lugged cement or?
Well, other than doing landscaping on my own, a house I had for a while, I did have a job as they call it landscaper, but it was really digging ditches. And
There you go.
I lasted about a week, and I was only about 20 or 21 years old, and it killed me. It was
Hmm.
absolutely brutal labor. So yeah, you
Yeah,
feel for these folks out there. But you see this all around in India. There's just little opportunity, and there's so many people. I mean, I think by now, I
yep.
haven't looked, but back in around 2011, 2012, it was already projected that India would surpass China as the most populous country in the world, and that was because of China's one-child policy,
That's right.
right? Which they
That's
and that was
yes.
mostly in Beijing and the larger cities, which I believe they actually relaxed in the last 10 years or
Mhm.
so. But I think India did surpass that, but I haven't. I thought I
They
read that
have.
somewhere they did surpass it. Yeah, and
India is 1.4 billion right now.
you see that when you go there. They're the place. It's just any of the big cities in India are just absolutely crawling with people.
Ooh, Rod Thunderheart says, you know what, Canadian Spider-Man, you're right. I've delivered freight to East Indian stores. I get ginger beer from there. Ooh, that's
Nice.
delicious. And do you mind reading this from Suzanne Eckstein?
Saskatchewan, Canada. So
Oh,
she's from Saskatchewan. Did I say that right?
are you sure you're
Saskatchewan.
an American? You nailed it.
Oh, right on. I'm
Well,
close. I'm
Saskatchewan.
close. I'm just south of the border from you there, Canadian
That's right.
Spider-Man.
Saskatchewan. I'm sure she pronounces it differently than some guy from BC. And Rod Thunderheart says he has lifted, yeah, manual labor. Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah,
When
Rod
I did
probably knows
roofing,
quite well. Yeah, roofing is
in the
brutal.
80s,
Oh boy.
we didn't have ladder hoists in New Brunswick, or certainly my boss didn't buy one. So everything went up the roof on our
Uh,
shoulders.
yeah, I'd
I
had
don't
to
even
do
know if
that
that's
one time. Yeah, that's
legal.
brutal. Yeah,
Ooh,
absolutely
nice.
brutal.
Have fun, PvP. Going to a cousin's barbecue tomorrow afternoon. Send me the address, buddy. We should do a meetup. Rod Thunderheart, awesome. Excellent. Ooh. Ooh, I have to miss Jill's Killer Bunny stream tomorrow. Ooh, I'll have to check that out. So, yeah, I did roofing, and that was you know what, it gave me a healthy body. It did. I'm physically fit because of it, but man, it was a hard way to make money. So this was about, like I said, about 19 years ago, and had a I had the misfortune of, well, I had the dumb idea, rather, of thinking that was a good idea for me to drink water from a trackside water fountain at the train station in Delhi. I think it was Delhi, and it said drinking water. Well, it didn't mean drinking water for white people, let me tell you,
I was
because yeah, I was sick both ends, and I lost. So here I'm down to about 130 pounds. I lost about 15 pounds in a week,
I was going to
and these
ask you if you had a bout with dysentery there. It's so
in
easy to get there.
yeah, yeah, very few places give me stomach problems or bowel problems, but India, just the water said drinking water, and it did not mean for people like me, because I didn't have the tolerance, and I lost about 15 pounds. So yeah, about 130 pounds in that photo. But I met these guys. I met these guys. They were riding on the train, because I would always ride on the trains third class. I didn't want to ride fancy with the rich people. I wanted to ride with the farmers in third class, and so I met these guys there.
Get a real sense of what it's like to live there when you
It
hang
was
around with
hot.
the local folks, right?
It was hot. It was hot.
Well, then you can really understand and appreciate what they go through every day. To them, that's fairly normal. that's just life.
Suzanne Eckstein says you nailed it. Nailed it.
Did
Excellent.
oh, nice.
Good. Never
The
drink the water, drink the beer. Agreed.
Yeah, and you don't even have to drink water. I got it. I had I think it's dysentery, if that's the right term. But basically, it's just I got it merely from well, my work companion and I were trying to figure out what did we eat, because he didn't get sick and I did, and that it was the last night of our first trip. Yeah, right, because we were headed to the airport while I was still sick. A good 24 hours later, I was still sick, and we figured out that it was a small salad that was in a we ate at the hotel. We ate at the hotel upstairs in their lounge, and they had these small salads left out in like a small highball glass. That's it, little tiny salad. And he said that's all it takes. And I think maybe somebody in the chat could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just bacteria. Or it's not that you don't have the stomach for it. You don't have the bacterial protection. It's not the right word, but resistance to it.
Right.
To what's in there.
System,
right.
Exactly.
What's in their water is bacteria that our system is not used to. I suppose if you stayed there long enough and you went through the issue several times, you would grow in resistance to it. But I believe that was the issue. And
that happened in Mexico. That happened to myself and my friends. We were down in Mexico last winter for 5 months, and after the first month, we built up a tolerance to it. Yeah. And I knew Suzanne Eckstein. I traveled quite a bit at that point, but the sign said drinking water. Damn it. The sign said drinking water.
And my friend told me not to drink water, and I didn't think about that also. When he said the salad was washed off in their water, because it didn't have water in it, but he said they would have washed the lettuce in their water, and that's all it takes with this that's right, tiny bacteria. I wasn't thinking about it either.
And PvP, do you mind reading what our friend PvP says?
PvP says, glad to be in Canada where I can drink and eat without worry. Yeah, we have the water up here in the northwest area, and I'm sure Canada is quite good.
In a lot of that's funny, actually. In the area that I'm at, there's a lot of agriculture. So unfortunately, there's several neighbors and houses in my area, including myself, where I cannot drink the tap water. Sadly, the river's contaminated with
from machine
agriculture. No, cow poop, basically.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know a lot of our native reserves have, like up north, have drinking water they cannot drink. So but for the most part, yes, we can drink and eat without worry. That's certainly not not the case here, but in a lot of Canada you can. That's fantastic. And Rod says he was able to drink the tap water in Cuba. Well, that's because he's part Cuban, though. He is actually part Cuban. So,
but does he spend a lot of time down there? Because I think really, if he doesn't, I would imagine it still comes back to the bacteria. Wouldn't you?
I'm kidding.
I don't know.
It's not genetic. No, it's not genetic. No, I do know that much. Yes, you don't have the protective enzymes in your stomach lining. Yeah, exactly. Drinking water, but not for foreigners. Yeah, you're right, PvP. I should have known that. I was just tired, and yeah. Thank you. I drink tap water here on the farm. Excellent, Rod. Yeah, most of Canada you can. That is fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not Cuban. I'm Indigenous. I know, Rod. I was kidding. I was pulling his leg. Canada mostly has great water, but if you place not so much, for the most part we do. Now I know that there are places where we mine uranium, and around there the water's probably not. I wouldn't drink it, but for 90% of it, you can. Yeah. But yeah, I took this picture here going into New Delhi or into Delhi, and heading to. Around Delhi, going to Varanasi, heading out to Varanasi, which is quite a religious city, a big city. The Ganges River flows through Varanasi, and that's the head. That's probably the most religious river in that part of the world would be the Ganges River. And speaking of, Yeah, so that's on the way to Varanasi from Delhi, and there is the Ganges River. That is sunrise over the Ganges River, folks. And sadly, that is pollution. That is not cloud. That is mostly pollution. But as the sun gets up higher in the sky, it all dissipates and burns off, and it gets more clear. But that is, I got up early, and paid a guy to take me out on a little rowboat, just like that, right on the Ganges River in Varanasi, which is where this photo's from. And you want to hear an interesting story about human, the ability of the human body to adapt, William?
Yeah.
It was a boat similar to this, and I paid the guy, I don't know what it was, like 20 rupees, and he took me out for an hour, took me all around, took me up the Ganges to the temple areas where they burn people on fire
Ooh.
piles, or they wrap them in linen and they throw them in the Ganges. Now this was, I don't know if they still do that these days. Hopefully not. But back then they were wrapping them in linen and throwing them in. If you had the money, and they would throw, or if you had more money, they would of course burn you in a fire pyre. But there were. Speaking of the human body's resistance and ability to adapt, people were swimming in here. PvP. People absolutely were swimming in here, doing laundry in here. I did not get my laundry done the entire time as a backpacker. I did not get it done in Varanasi because I saw them. They take them down to the river, and there's septic pipes coming out in the river and everything else, and they just clean them right in the river. But anyway, so there was this fish. My boatman was taking me out for this sunrise photo, and there was this fish floating belly up in the Ganges, and he grabbed it, smiled. He didn't speak English, smiled at me, and tucked it under his seat for, I'm assuming, to take home for food.
Later. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw people swimming in there, and if as a Westerner, if you were to submerge your body in that water, you would probably end up going to the clinic at the very least. But those people can swim in it every day and they're fine. And yeah, even on indigenous reserves. Yeah, I know a lot of the reserves in New Brunswick had wonderful water, like gorgeous, beautiful water. But some of them in Northern Ontario, I think, are not. The water's not so good, and it has been, yeah, bad for years. Yeah, yeah. Clean water's a big problem in a lot of the world, and here I mostly drank bottled water, or yeah, occasionally I drank from a sign that said drinking water, which I learned not to. Do you mind reading this from our friend Suzanne Eckstein, please, Will?
Yeah, this was pretty cool. Suzanne Eckstein says, you can usually get the enzyme from a drugstore in a powder form. If you tell them where you're going, they will give you something. I was not aware of that. So
All right.
that's great. I'll
to
remember
know.
that it's
Yeah.
easy to forget anytime you leave home and you go to, particularly another country, but even another state, you want to be conscious of not digging right in with the local water supply and always drink bottled water. But it's so easy trap to just forget, and you forget once and you get, some of those bugs in your system, and that's it. I look just like, when I went through my issue, I looked just like you. I mean, I easily lost 10 pounds immediately in just a couple of days. It was just awful. I couldn't keep water down, couldn't keep anything down, but not even water.
No.
You throw up water. It was terrible in both ends. So
all I could do was eat boiled eggs and bananas, and just a couple of those a day. I actually found my abs again. I freaking found my ab muscles.
nice.
I
Yeah.
don't recommend that way to do it.
Yeah, it sucked.
I'll just pull us out of this picture here for a minute. Here's the sunrise on the Ganges, folks. And there's a few clouds, but it is mostly smog. But there are a couple of clouds up there you can see. But the Ganges, very holy river, the holiest river in the whole region. And you see people swimming in there. They were swimming right off the boat there.
Yeah.
So they were definitely swimming in it. And they do indeed cremate folks in the Ganges. Those can afford the wood. if you can't afford the wood, I think they at the time they wrapped you up in threw you in the Ganges, or worse, or just didn't. Yeah. Oh, something that Butthole Trudeau promised the first year he got elected. That, you know what, he also yeah, there you go. The native reserves, the water situation on native reserves, he did. Yep, according to Rod Thunderheart, and I believe he is correct. Something that the Butthole Trudeau promised the first year he got elected. I can confirm Trudeau is a butthole. That was from Ghostbusters. Yes, Your Honor, this man has no penis.
That's right.
Yes, I can confirm, Your Honor. Trudeau is a bottle. Yeah, no, that's that and electoral reform. So it's not first past the post anymore. But he didn't do that either because it's to his advantage. Not swimming there. Well, I wouldn't either, but these fellas did. These kids, I believe these were kids, if memory serves. Yeah, beautiful pictures though. The Ganges, it did feel spirit. I'm not a spiritual guy, Will, but there's something. I mean, Varanasi is a very holy city. I believe it's probably the holiest city in India. I certainly got that impression, and just the amount of just the amount of religious people there walking around that were obviously religious, either pilgrims or priests themselves, and just lots of flowers. And ooh, you know what? I have a video. I'll stop sharing this. Do you want to see the video?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll stop sharing this, and I will try and share.
I'm going to guess that well, easily over 95% of the population of India is heavily religious. Trying to look up what the obviously there's Hindu there, and there's another cohabitation religion there. I wanted to say it was Muslim, but they wear all black, and I'm spacing out on the name of what their wardrobe is called.
Here we go. Here we go, folks. That's the one I wanted to share. All right. So here we go, and I'm going to play it. Are you ready?
Ready.
Hopefully, I did do commentary on this. This is about half a minute long or less. And hopefully you can hear the commentary okay, folks. So this is on the holiest river in India, in Varanasi, the large city of Varanasi, starting with a V, and the Ganges River. And there's a lot of, well, you'll see for yourself. Here's the video.
This is the Ganges River in Varanasi. These are the Ghats, temples along the water. People bathe here, burn their dead, set them adrift in the Ganges. Even though it's too septic to bathe in, they do it anyway. It's 300 times the acceptable rate of shit in the river.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty cool, hey? So tell me about your time in India. What did you get a chance to go to Varanasi?
I didn't go to Varanasi. I was in. I'm not. I have to look at a map and see exactly where you were. I was in Hyderabad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
in the southeast or central east.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Calcutta is on the very east, close to Bangladesh.
Okay.
And then New Delhi is more in the west, but the Hyderabad is between those two. Yeah, more in the east, and I believe it's a little more poor than the west, the east of India. And did you get that impression, or?
I saw levels of that was the lowest level of poverty that I'd ever experienced was in India. What I saw there, just all around, and it was the disparity was also the greatest disparity I'd ever seen between the haves and the have-nots, without a doubt. So I don't know if it, I don't, to say it was any one place was more poor than another. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
it's very possible that where I was, that the overall city where I was maybe a step above other cities, because Hyderabad is a tech is a very tech centric city in the whole country. So you kind of figure that there's a little bit of the rising of all tides, where there are where there is a tech industry and a lot of companies that support people that are in like customer support and technology support, and also development and design. That is going to filter down into a little bit more wealth for their personal families, versus
Yeah,
places that don't have that, right?
you'd
But
hope so. Yeah.
yeah, I think so, because they're still going to live in large groups of families together, still having the mother and the father and
Mhm.
possibly the grandparents in one house. But if there's somebody that's working in the tech sector, they're going to bring home more money than somebody who's in agriculture, and so
Mhm.
their whole family is going to benefit from that, and allow them to go to school. And so yeah, that it might have been a little bit at a higher level than Calcutta, but that is these are shades of gray, because what I saw there, you were mentioning something early on in the stream before I came on.
Yeah. Good
That
night to PvP. I just want to take a second
Oh,
to say
sorry.
good night.
Yep.
Good night to you. He's got a barbecue tomorrow.
Oh
So
yeah, that's right.
fantastic. Please continue.
You were talking about perspective, and it, definitely a place like India will give you such an immense perspective about your own life, wherever it is that you live. If you live in a Western country, um, the opportunity and the infrastructure there is vastly superior compared to places like this. And it's not to say that I'm not saying that we're better than they are. I'm saying this is just a fact of this is what you see,
Hmm.
right? We've
Yep.
got steel girders and bridges and all this stuff, and these
Hmm.
guys have stuff made out of wood and it barely works. The
Yep.
buses that the buses that you see, I got on a bus once in Goa, which is on the west coast of the continent, and the bus was so rickety that the bus driver was yelling. The bus was packed, by the way. The thing was no bigger than the
Oh
one that
yeah.
drove by. It was packed full of people, and there's a barker at the door calling
Yep.
to pull people in, right? Pulling you in.
Yep.
Well, the bus was so rickety that he wouldn't stop, and the bus driver was kind of yelling and waving at me in probably it was in Hindi, trying to tell me, get on, get on, get on. I have to keep him pointing forward. He has to keep
Yep.
going. And if he stops, the
He
bus won't.
can't stop.
He can't. It won't restart.
That's
So
right.
so I'm running and running, and the barker grabs my arm and pulls me in. And
Yeah. Oh wow.
that
Wow.
bus ride was a total of 12.5 cents. Was the cost of
Uh-huh.
that was the effective cost of that bus ride it was one of those things that I remembered because I just thought that was absolutely hilarious and fun. I mean, talk about an adventure, right? That would be so criminal in the United States to jump on for a bus driver to
100%.
be driving a bus and say, jump on, man.
But they have to. It's the way it does. It
It's the way
wouldn't
things
work
work.
otherwise. The
No.
system wouldn't work. So these guys were all doing laundry in the Ganges River and just letting it dry on the steps of the temples, and yeah, crazy. Do you mind reading this from Suzanne Eckstein, please?
Suzanne says the tiny village we live in has one of those standpipe hoses that runs artesian well water that they say is not safe to drink, but it's perfectly fine.
Ah,
And where would that?
nice.
So
In
so
Saskatchewan, yeah.
where does that come from then? What does she mean by that? I think I said that's what she meant. Artesian,
Yeah,
is that
I
what she
guess
meant to say?
a standpipe hose that runs artesian well water, they say, is not safe to drink. So I guess that means well water just coming up from the ground. And they say that it's not safe to drink, perhaps because they're worried about contaminants from the
Mm.
surrounding soils. But often it's fine. And she says that water is fine.
Well,
And
she built up her immunity to it.
mhm. Rod Thunderheart and so many of our First Nations people still don't have clean, safe drinking water. That is
Yeah, very true.
indeed.
Very
And
true.
Pleasant Valley Picker, no understanding of the filth, not for this Canadian boy. The level of filth in big countries that have big populations like this, and frankly, second world and third world countries. I've been to a lot of them. I've been to a couple dozen, and you get used to the level of unsanitary conditions, I guess, the disorder, the filth, I guess, if you want to be. I mean, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way.
Sure,
It's
right.
just
It's just
it's there. It's a different way of life that.
yeah. And it's in
Uh,
your face. You can't avoid, you can't not acknowledge what you're looking at. It's completely different
mhm.
than what we're used to. And in
Hello,
foreign,
hello to Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Hello, and he's saying hello to us both. Yeah. No, it is right in your face. You can't avoid it. It's otherwise, yeah, you can't go there. If you can't get used to this type of, then Cambodia might and India might not be the place for you. And do you mind reading what Suzanne Eckstein is saying here?
Suzanne says, the only reason I know this is because my family comes to Canada on occasion from the Caribbean, New Zealand, and they need the enzymes to drink the Canadian water. Really? They
Oh
need to get the enzymes to drink
wow,
Canadian water. Well, I wouldn't have guessed that.
interesting.
Well,
Okay,
wonder if I do too.
interesting.
Well, I guess it
Okay,
doesn't hurt just to get them anyway, wherever you're going,
no,
right?
no, okay,
The
yeah,
enzymes.
yeah. Rod Thunderheart says, frankly, it's like down south. None of the assholes in politics are worth voting for. And I think PvP agrees. Yeah, no good politicians to vote for. Yeah, in general. Okay, well, thanks for being with us, PvP. He's had to go to bed. And Suzanne Eckstein says, Canadian Spider-Man, you have Hinduism and Buddhism. Could be wrong. A
It's
lot of, yeah.
it's
Go ahead.
Muslim. I was right. It was Hindu and Muslim. Or if she's talking about the two, I thought I was wrong about the Muslim, but it is according to Wikipedia. The two, they're a kind of a symbiotic set of
Mm-hmm.
religions. I don't know that they see eye to eye on anything, particularly as far as their religion is concerned, but they live together in harmony in their country.
Absolutely. And there's a third religion that I got exposed to, and I hadn't seen anywhere else in the world. It's called the Jain religion, Jain, the Jain
Hmm.
religion, and you're not allowed to. They believe in doing no harm to any living animal at all, including insects. They don't even believe in swatting mosquitoes. And in fact, when
Wow.
you go into, I went into one of their temples in, was it in Varanasi? It may, I think I have pictures of it here. It might well have been in Varanasi. And I had to take off my belt because it's made from leather. So it was an animal
Wow.
product. And I could not go into the temple with my leather belt. So I had to remove it. And yeah, it was.
I suppose were you barefoot too? Would they make you go in
I
barefoot?
wasn't. I was in sandals. I was in
You were the
sandals. Yeah,
sandal. Okay.
yeah. But yeah, no. They believe in absolutely no harm to any animal creature. You know.
I found the religious breakdown of the country.
Ooh. Okay. Please go ahead. And
Uh,
these
I
guys doing laundry. In these guys are just doing laundry, beating the dirt out of the laundry in the Ganges River in Varanasi.
I like that. I like beating the dirt out of anything.
Yeah, I know, right?
I like beating the
So quick,
crap
and
out of
then
things
drying
too.
it. So here
Yeah.
they are beating it and being supervised by the grandma here in the Afghan Shah, and then they're drying it here. Yeah, cool. And people swimming on the Ganges River. Yeah. Please go ahead, William Shakespeare.
Yeah. So earlier I made a comment, just a guess. I said I was going to guess just from my experience there and being surrounded by the local people that there was at least 95% of the population there were religious and I mean heavily religious. Um, and the breakdown is the following: 79.8% Hinduism, 14.2% Islam. That's 95% right there on the nose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you got another 2.3% Christianity, 1.7% the Sikhs, which is called
Sikhs. Yeah.
Sikhism.
Yeah.
So right, we've heard of Sikhs, and they call it Sikhism, and then
Yeah.
0.7% Buddhism and 0.4% Jainism.
0.4% Jainism. Well, there you
And
go.
then you've got 0.23% unsatisfied. I'm sorry,
Unsatisfied. But we just
Unaffiliated,
okay.
and 0.65 others. So less than 1% is non-denominated, non-declared.
Wow. And here's
99.1% religious
of
population
some kind, yeah.
of some kind.
Wow. I knew the Jain religion was very small there. I knew it was a very, very small because I only saw a few temples. And here's the famous Ganges River, folks. Yeah, just interesting. And these fellas here were stitching together rugs at factory. They're looking pretty young, but apparently they do go to school in the mornings and work in the afternoons. So I did go here. I didn't buy anything, but I was talked into coming here and at least looking at the rugs. And I had some tea and sat down and saw the rugs being made and I did listen to the sales pitch, but I didn't have room in my backpack for a rug or material of any kind. But the young kid who was probably, I don't know, I'm going to say 12 or 13, who I ran into, or he ran into me along the Ganges here as I was taking photos. He brought me back to this his uncle's rug shop, and I wasn't going to go with him at first, but he spoke English, and then I switched to French, and he spoke better French than I did. And
Yeah.
then I spoke to Spanish. He spoke Spanish. Then switched. I swear to God, I switched to Japanese, and he spoke Japanese better than I did again. And so I said, okay, you just spoke four languages. All right. Okay. Where are you taking me? Let's go. I'll go to your uncle's rug shop. Let's go. I'm not going to buy anything, but at least let's go. I'll have a look. It was impressive. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I don't know how educated he could have been at 12 years old, but he selling things to tourists. He picked up their languages. He didn't go to school for those languages. He just picked them up. Incredible.
I can't really say I'm surprised. The people that I worked with there, on average, knew 4 languages that they spoke regularly,
Yeah.
and
Unbelievable.
they included Hindi, English, and usually there was a local, like a local village language, like
Yeah.
for the grandparents. And
Yeah.
I'm spacing on what
Dialect.
yeah, right, a dialect, and then I'm
Yeah.
spacing on what the fourth one was. But I found that to be pretty common, and I just thought that was astounding that they would keep up all of these on a regular basis. So I'm not surprised. I mean, with that kind of skill, sure, if you listen
Mhm.
enough, you're going to pick up more languages just by trying, especially as a child.
Well, yeah, especially if that's the way you earn money for food.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
Rod
especially.
Thunderheart says it's like baseball games in Cuba for a paltry 75 cents. Exactly.
I'd like to
Everything's
see that.
cheap in India. An artesian well is an deep underground well. Yeah, coming up from the ground. Figured, and it tastes better than tap water. I believe it. All of our bodies adjust to what we live with, so other places are different. Agreed. Susan Eckstein says, so Indian vegan hippies? Yeah.
There were vegans there well, vegans I'm not sure,
What
but vegetarians for sure.
but that's where I learned to find and go to the restaurants with the Muslim flag
Mm.
because Muslims eat meat. So
Okay.
if I was had a craving for meat, because I did try a lot of the. I'm not a vegetarian at all. I believe in meat very strongly, but I did try a lot of the vegetarian dishes in India. But if I wanted meat, I would look for the red flag that has the sort of the half moon and the star, the Muslim flag,
Okay.
and I knew that restaurant served meat, and that's where I would go.
We must have gotten lucky when we were there. Every restaurant that we didn't go to,
Hmm.
we kind of stuck to the same restaurants that we liked, but each of them that we went to had carnivorous plates on the menu. Very, very hot and spicy as hell, and just delicious, and
Yep,
make your face sweat.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely pouring sweat from your face just because of the heat, and you couldn't get enough of it either. So
And Rod, do you mind reading Rod Thunderheart's comment?
Rod says, "Wow, I learned something." Jain religion, and I didn't know that either. Didn't even know about it. I had never heard of it either.
Yeah,
That's
neither did I
fascinating.
till I wandered into their temple and they said, "Ah, you got to take your belt off." And I said, "I'm not falling
Yeah.
for that trick again, buddy."
And here's a bar of soap, Spidey.
Exactly right. Yes. Yeah. No. Well, artesian wells, very cool. Thank you, Suzanne. What kind of work do you do to travel to all these exotic places? Suzanne Eckstein, I just save up money. I worked all kinds of jobs in my life. I worked hotels, maintenance hotels in Whistler, running maintenance crews up in Whistler. Worked in a machine shop in Victoria. A lot of maintenance jobs. Worked maintenance up at a camp up in a gold mine in the Yukon. I'm working right now doing Zamboni driving and working for the local arena and doing construction this summer with a buddy of mine as a contractor out there. So all kinds of different jobs. None of them earn like I think all my friends earn more than I do, but I don't have kids. I don't have ex-wives, and I don't drive. My car's a 2003, and I'm repair it. I repair it myself. I'm currently doing the wheel bearing job on it. So
Nice.
I don't spend money on anything else except for the basics and travel because I'm addicted to travel. Can't help it.
Spidey, do you remember what inspired you to go on this trip?
To India, I had saved up money teaching English in Japan. And since I was over in that part of the world, I just took my savings and saw how far I could go. So I hit Thailand, went to Thailand straight away, and did Thailand. And then the loop there is the common loop that you go through uh, Laos and then down through Vietnam and then Cambodia under around Cambodia and then back to Thailand. So you do a circle there.
Right.
And then if you want to go then to the west, of course, you can hop over to India, just fly from Bangkok and hop over Burma and Bangladesh and land in India, in Delhi. And I landed in Calcutta, I think. And then I went up into China, and then from India, and then went back down into Thailand from China, and went down into Hong Kong from China, and then from Hong Kong, there's many flights to Vancouver back to Canada. So and Seattle and Los Angeles and anywhere on the West Coast really. San Diego, probably not so much. But yeah, so this guy, he's a soldier, and his rifle that he's got on this is in Varanasi, and the rifle he's got looked like a World War I rifle. Honestly, Will, I don't even know if it would fire.
Maybe he did it for hunting.
I don't know, but it looked really old, and it's the streets were all dirt like this, and it was just, and Calcutta actually had at the banks, there was only a couple of banks, and you had to go in and show your passport to get money out, and then wait for about a half an hour, and it was a big deal to get money out. It took a long time, but the banks, I swear to God, had bunkers there was two entrances to this bank that I went in, and the other banks around town were the same in Calcutta, in this part of Calcutta, and there were bunkers made outside the doors to the bank, and I'm not joking, with the aerial camouflage netting over the tops, and two guys with big guns in this sandbag bunker.
Wow.
And each door had one of these bunkers protecting the bank, and it was just a whole, like, I felt nervous about going in there. It's like, what the hell? Like, how often do you guys get attacked? Like, Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, but the military guys, I don't think they got paid a lot. He looked like he wasn't wealthy by any means.
Well, if he was ex-military, my guess is that the gun did work, but he may not have had any, because he would have probably taken care of it, known how to, and respected it, but he may not have had any bullets.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know if he was serving. He looked like he was wearing a uniform. That looked like kind of a uniform to me.
Yeah,
I think he's actually an active soldier.
Yeah, right. How did you change money when you were there? Given that, I
Uh,
mean, that looks,
I had to
that
go to the bank. I
I
had to
mean,
go to the bank and exchange traveler's checks at that time.
okay. I was thinking
And
ATM. I'm thinking,
yeah,
I can't imagine they would have an ATM there. So I
not
figured
in
you had to go.
Calcutta.
Yeah.
They did in New Delhi, but not in
Oh,
Calcutta
man.
at the time. And
Yeah. That
Rod,
is,
Rod Thunderheart, I knew nothing of either before this. Well, Suzanne Epstein. Yeah, the Jain religion is fascinating. And Rod Thunderheart, I know you're into things like that. I highly recommend researching the Jain religion. Their temples are intricate and incredible. And they don't want to do any harm to any animal. So it's just any living creature. Yeah, amazing.
just,
So
I'm
this
gonna,
guy, do you know what this guy is?
hmm,
Do you know what that is in the foreground? Those sticks?
sugarcane.
Bingo. You got it, my friend.
So is he making a drink?
He is. That's a press. That's a
I'm,
squeezer.
I'm thinking, I don't know. I've seen that.
Yeah. Do you see the
Yes,
two?
he
They
runs
look
those
like
things.
plungers on top. They look like little
He
plungers on top.
he
And he
jams them in
feeds
there.
those through the
Yeah.
top and it presses them out and it comes out and it's like a coconut water color and but it obviously doesn't taste like coconut. It tastes like sugar cane, and it's not nearly as sweet as I thought it would be. It's not overly sweet. It was actually really refreshing, and it was super cheap, and it was like 5 cents a glass, and it was really good and not overly sweet, delicious. But a lot of these guys, they were missing fingers and arms.
Oh,
As you can see, there's no guard on that machine.
oh boy.
And
Yeah.
he ran that sun up to sundown. And you
Yeah.
imagine being a little bit tired and then you stick your arm in the wrong way.
Uh,
There's no guard there, man. There's no guard. You're losing whatever body part goes in there. Yeah,
you
crazy.
just,
But they had to make money. I
yeah.
mean, he had to feed his family. So he did that day in and day out, hoping that he didn't make a mistake. It was crazy. I felt like I should have paid him a lot more than 5 cents.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing too. What do you do in these situations where you get a service, you have somebody, I got a haircut there, I got a shave there once by a local barber, and the cost was so low. So I mean, I've got an answer for this, but I'm just posing the question to you. What do you tell people when you encounter something like that? You paid, what you say, you paid 5 cents for the drink?
Something like that, yeah.
And
Well,
what?
it might seem like you're doing a good thing, and you might seem like you're doing them a favor by giving them extra money. But if everyone goes over doing that, then you're going to cause inflation. And I've seen this happen in a town where I lived in Whistler ski resort, and the locals no longer live there because they can't afford to it. And I've seen the same in towns in Mexico. I've heard stories from people in places I've traveled to like this, where they can no longer afford, they have to bus it in because they can't afford to live in the town anymore because of inflation. And so if you do want to be generous and you want to be friendly, but you can't just throw money around, otherwise eventually it'll do damage. Do you have any opinions on that?
Well, yeah, I do, from having, when I was in India is where I learned the lessons about that, which is I wanted to hear what you thought about it. And I was taught by the guy who I was partnered with for my trip, and he had more experience than I did in places like India. And so he said, the way he put it was, you can't bring your monetary basis of what things cost with you to these other countries. You'll disrupt the economy there by doing that. And kind of looking at it from a bigger, broader picture. If you
From the big picture, yeah.
if you give him 25 cents for a drink that he expects to get 5 cents for, then the next time he sees a Westerner, he's going to charge them 25 cents or 30 cents. It's going to throw everything out of whack. His expectations are going to completely get out of whack. And then that's going to start to affect his expectations about his locals. Well, why can't they pay at least 10
and
cents
it
more?
and it puts a lot more money if everyone now he's got
Right,
all this money and it's going to drive up prices
right.
if you input more money into a system it causes inflation. I think our
Just
finance minister
just
is learning that now in Canada.
ju- just like you said, it just wrecks it for everyone. It wrecks it for because
Yeah.
his business now starts to suffer because he's imposing new
Mhm.
expectations on on his prior customers who are locals, and so everything becomes a mess.
Well, he prioritizes the locals because that's where the money is. He doesn't, or he prioritizes the tourists
The
because
tourists, because that's where the money is,
he ignores the locals now because
right?
I
And
don't even want to deal with it.
it makes it worse for the tourists because they come along and they see him charging 5 or 10 cents to a local, and then they walk up and it's 50 cents, and they think,
That's right.
oh,
Yeah.
we're getting
And in India, that was remind. Can we let's put a pin in this
okay.
because you know about
The dual pricing
the yes
of events of
in
places and
Agra. Yeah, in Agra, where the Taj Mahal is. So
mm,
let's get back to that when we talk about the Taj Mahal because
okay,
there's an interesting price difference there. So
yeah,
these guys, they're making bread, local shop. They're just making bread in the morning. Everything's hand mixed. You know, it's yeah. I just love the handmade food.
yeah,
You know,
and they're so
it's
delicate with their
wholesome
hands too.
and it's not processed. It's not processed. You know. Do you mind reading this? Oh, geez, DJ,
Right.
play
Sorry,
nice.
sorry, DJ, we had this up here before. Frickin' tornadoes. Okay, if they arrive or not, civil defense sirens are screaming. So to the basement I go, listening till the all clear of Wizard of Oz styly. I'll call from Kansas later on.
Oh,
Oh man, he's
hopefully
going.
you're okay.
Wow, see, he's got tornado warnings, huh?
Yeah, that's
Oof.
exciting, but hopefully it's okay. It's
Yeah.
exciting as long as no one gets hurt.
Right.
Everyone's saying play nice,
Yeah.
be nice. And Canadian Spider-Man, if they don't eat cows because they worship them and they don't eat pork, what meat did you eat? Well, see, that's why I went to the Muslim restaurants because the Muslims do not worship cows. They eat the cows. And I did have goat there as well. They
Yeah.
didn't eat pork though. You're right. I don't believe the Muslims eat pork. You're right.
I don't remember having pork there either.
But
I do recall having chicken there though.
chicken and goat for
And
sure.
goat, yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I believe the Muslims do eat beef. Got it. You're a professional traveler. I do try to be. That's why I don't own a house. I have spent, I gotta say, a couple $100,000 on travel. Yeah, so far in my life. Yep, I, I do. Thank you, Rod Thunderheart. It's very zen of me about the Jain religion, I guess. And yeah, trying not to hurt anyone, and I do respect the I do respect the and I guess he's talking about how I did try the vegetarian dishes. I did absolutely. Um, ooh, Suzanne Eckstein. Hopefully you get a new roof and deck, and hopefully you get the renovation work done. I know there's a lot of it out there, and some guys do good work, like my buddy and I. So hopefully you can find someone like that. Actually, the guy I work for, my buddy, is from Saskatchewan. I'll see if we're going out. He sometimes we go out and help his father out with stuff. So wouldn't it be funny if we go out into Saskatchewan and we get a chance to go run into Suzanne Eckstein? Then she'll put us to work. Then it sounds like she'll put us to work on all this. She's got a lot of stuff she needs done there.
That's right. I need a new roof. I need some drywall done.
Cool. Thanks for doing that, William Shakespeare Spielberg. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I thought that might, if Rod's interested in checking it out, there's a place to start at least.
Mm-hmm. Oh shoot,
Oh, wow.
the way the picture is framed, it cut off the top of this guy's head. But yeah, he was a moto taxi guy, and he was just sweating all day long. But again, it was a good job. If you could get a job driving tourists around, and a lot of people wanted to do that. And okay, so I did tell you that I like to drive, ride in the third class in trains and
Mm,
buses and things like that with the locals, with the farmers.
mm.
So this is a third class train going about 5 hours, if memory serves, from Delhi to Agra, where the Taj Mahal is. And I got a sleeper because it was early in the morning. So I got a sleeper car, and I could actually lay down up on the bed, and it was kind of cool. But during the early hours there, it was quite comfy. It wasn't bad. So there's a sleeper car, third class in the train system in India.
Were it all windows open?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was it
No air
yeah, no
AC
no
or anything like
yeah,
that.
all
No
wide
way,
open.
no. Oh, Rod Thunderheart says that's weird because they kind of hope you tip them in Cuba. Also, I asked our guide, and he directed me to a barbero. It was free, and I asked cuando. Boss
Wow.
looked at me and charged $7. I was happy. Ah, okay. Well, Cuba, see, Cuba is uh, they're weird. They do need American currency coming in. They're
I think that might be an example of what we were talking about, how
mhm.
the changes one culture's the economic social laws spill over into another one, and they suddenly adopt them, and then suddenly tipping becomes a thing in a country where it wasn't. It was imported essentially by foreigners. That
Right.
very well could have been a thing there.
Hmm.
That could be how that's happened there, because in China, for example, there is
Yep.
no tipping. There's no tipping whatsoever. You don't tip anyone for anything. They don't expect it, and you don't do it.
That's right. Same
Uh,
in Japan, but I have the fear that Japan might start importing that from
mm,
America and Canada. Canada and USA are calling for twisters this weekend. That is not good.
wow,
Sees NXT.
seriously.
Well, as long as they don't hit anyone, they're so. Here you go, India.
Oh,
How's
nice.
how's that? How's that for a typical farmer in India?
What do you think he's transporting there? Rice, possibly?
Rice. Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Rod. I get it. I meant you live in the moment and love traveling. I absolutely do. And yes, goats are fair game, and they're delicious. Is it the Rogan Josh? I believe the Rogan Josh. It comes with goat often when you get it here in BC. The Rogan Josh dish. I believe it comes with goat. So yeah, there's this farmer was able to find a camel, I guess, and that's his family car.
That's the
Yeah,
sedan.
yeah,
That's
and
the
that
SUV.
wagon looked very sturdy, very heavy, because
Yeah,
those wheels aren't necessarily that big for such a heavy load, eh?
yeah,
Yeah,
that does look like a pretty sturdy vehicle.
very sturdy. Yeah,
He's got a V1 in that under that hood right there.
that's right. Ooh, okay.
Ooh, here we go.
So this is the city in about the middle of India, more or less, in Rajasthan, and it's called
Rajasthan.
yeah, and
Nice.
now that Rajasthan's an area. Now the
Yeah.
city is Udaipur, and I'm massacring that pronunciation, I'm sure, but it starts with a U. Udaipur, I believe is how you pronounce it. And normally, now this is a famous region because it's a little higher up in the mountains, and so when India gets boiling hot, the wealthy people and the royals used to retreat to the mountains of Udaipur, and they'd go to this palace. And this palace is normally surrounded by a lake. It's the Lake Palace. But every few years, the lake dries up. And when I was there visiting, it just so happens to be that I could walk out to the palace because the lake was dried up, completely dried up.
Wow.
But normally, this is all water, and it's a few feet deep.
Mm.
And it's the famous attraction in Udaipur. And again, it's up in the mountains, so it's a little bit cooler because in the summer in India it's like 40 degrees. It was
Oh, yeah,
man, it hit
brutal.
50 degrees in my travels here. 50
Sure.
Celsius, which is 100 and
Brutal.
105, something like that.
I remember the having a meal that was from Rajasthan. And when you said that, it just triggered a memory.
Oh, of Rajasthan.
Just the name,
Oh yeah.
some event. We went to a particular event on a weekend, and they were serving Rajasthani cuisine, let's say.
Ooh,
I mean,
I bet.
it wasn't fancy or anything, but and it was really good, and it was really, really spicy too. But I remember it being
I,
fairly unique.
I was
It was
gonna say, I bet you it was
yeah,
spicy.
yeah, it was
Do
real
you
spicy.
do you mind reading this from our friend?
Suzanne Eckstein says, "Good for you with the traveling. It's nice for those that can't get out anymore." Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a lot of
Nice.
fun to live
Nice.
vicariously through your. All of us can live vicariously through your adventures, Spidey.
I'm so happy to be able to do it, and I wanted to have a show that was one of my interests in travel. I've always been fascinated with travel. That's why I don't have a snowmobile or a motorcycle or a house. But uh, I've, I've been around the world a few times. Cuba is a tourist economy. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
absolutely right. And Suzanne Eckstein says, "Have I ever ridden an elephant? I have in Thailand. Yep, in Thailand. Yeah, at a nature reserve in the south, as a matter of fact.
And I got to
Uh,
ride one there in India, in Hyderabad.
ooh,
It was at
yes,
yeah. It was kind of a little bit of a tourist attraction, but it was part of the event that we went to, and it was short. But I remember it now that you mentioned that. Did I
mhm,
ride I remember getting on the thing, and I remember it being
yeah,
very, very dusty.
yeah. But he was a
And
wonderful animal and
yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah,
well
well
taken
behaved.
care of.
Yeah, well
Yeah,
behaved, well taken care of. You
he
could tell they
seemed
respect
happy,
their, yeah, and they
very
seem
much
to,
so.
yeah, I think they really respected. I saw a
Mhm.
lot of respect for the animals there.
I did too. I did too. So speaking of the Jain religion, and Rod, if you're still in there, I think you are. This is a figure that I took. I told you I visited a Jain temple. Had to remove my belt because it was leather, an animal product. So this is one of the figures at the Jain temple. This is a photo inside the Jain temple, and I guess this is one of the Jain gods with the freaky eyeballs. Very weird, but yeah, very cool religion. Any religion that does no harm, mad respect for you. Yeah, and oh, Rod, you are here. Good, intriguing. He says, yeah, I thought it was too. Elephants are smarter and smarter than some humans. I I bet you there's some science to that.
Elephants will mourn their dead. Elephants will mourn their dead. When elephant dies, its family will mourn it.
What do you think of this?
Well, let's see. That's got to be a huge beer container, because why else would you go for the effort to risk putting something that big on your head unless it was full with the greatest
It,
ale you ever had?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I think too. She must have some incredible ale there. That looks delicious. But again, the beautiful. Now, I think it was Rod Thunderheart saying that. No, it wasn't Rod. Well, he might have mentioned it, but uh, it was Miskatonic Madman, perhaps, was saying about how the or was it yourself about the colorful clothing that
Yeah,
that
I
the
said
ladies
that.
wear? It was
Yeah,
you, yeah. And
they're sarongs. Is that right? Sarongs. Is that
sarongs, yeah.
yeah?
That's yep, correct.
And I mean, we see them here in or at least in Washington State, in the Seattle area. There's a large Indian culture, a large technology culture of in this greater part of the Seattle city. So
Hmm.
and surrounding area. So you see a lot of people that are first generation coming over from India on H-1B visa,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and so they bring their clothing with them, and it's very colorful. And then go back to India, and you see it's everywhere, and they're just very, look at the vibrant colors. Look at the yellow in the background, just to the right of
That's right.
the barrel. Yeah,
Yeah.
yellows and blues and reds and oranges. I'm just shouting.
Hmm.
It's almost like right out of the 1960s. It's so bright and vibrant.
Yeah, and agreed. And they managed to keep them that color, I guess, somehow. But yeah,
Yeah,
intriguing.
somehow, yeah.
I don't know what she was carrying, but yeah, just a typical scene in India. So there's the lake palace, and I have a video of the lake palace that I took while I was standing out there. So let's take a look at that, shall we? If I can manage to bring that up. Here we go. Okay, it's the Taj Lake Palace in Udaipur in Rajasthan. Let's share that. And let's play. About half a minute long.
I'm in the Indian city of Udaipur, famous for its lake, but it's dry right now. And the most expensive hotel in India, or one of them, is the Lake Hotel, as you can see right there, but no one's staying there now. And up on the hill is the city palace. I'm gonna go check that out. It's supposed to be nice.
Okay.
So Spidey, when the hotel is surrounded by water, you've
Yeah.
got to get out there by boat, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
So
that's right.
what time of year? I mean, is it a seasonal thing or
Apparently,
what's
no,
the-
it's normally has water in it, but just
okay?
every few years,
It it dries up.
it
Okay.
dries up. Yeah, so
Wow, that
yeah,
would be so cool to go there and to get on it, to have to go to the hotel by boat.
by
That would be
boat. I
just
know.
neat.
I'd love to go back
Yeah, that would be
and
really neat.
and see. Yeah, that's Udaipur, folks. Udaipur. And okay, hey, do you mind reading this from our?
S- Suzanne says they also use that little tip at the oh, we're talking about elephants. They also use that little tip at the end of their trunks like a finger and can unscrew nuts and bolts. That's pretty that's dexterity right there. I mean, that's a huge finger.
That's impressive. It sure is. Hello, Kivan Six. Thanks. Thank you for being here. And do you mind reading this too, if you?
Suzanne says, when I was with the circus, my lead elephant would unscrew her shackles and let everyone else loose, then go back and stand in line like she didn't do anything.
Are you kidding me?
That is awesome. This is totally awesome.
Wow, I want to hear about
So,
the
right.
circus stories.
Suzanne, where's Suzanne's show? Suzanne, next week? Are we doing a Suzanne show about
I think we should.
is she the new guest host? Telling us we got to hear this circus story.
We could do animals of the world. I have a ton of animal photos,
Heck yeah.
and we could have Suzanne on if she's up for it. Absolutely, hell yeah.
That we got to hear anyone who's in the circus has got stories galore. Got to be.
I'm sure, 100%.
She was a flyer. Were you on the trapeze? Or yeah, were you on the trapeze, Suzanne?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, if she was a flyer, she was on the trapeze. Oh, okay. Miskatonic Madman votes for circus stories.
That's it.
Okay, we're definitely
That's it.
yes.
Oh yes, all right. That's it.
Okay,
She's opened the floodgates.
okay. Rod Thunderheart wants to hear them too.
You see
Yeah.
what you do here, Suzanne? This is what
That's right.
happens.
So these folks were just waiting around for a bus or a ride somewhere. But beautiful clothes again, you know.
Did
Yeah,
you happen to go
definitely.
in? Yeah, we definitely have to hear these stories from Suzanne. This is queued up.
Yes. Yep. We're gonna have circus stories with Suzanne. Definitely.
We'll have to make sure and broadcast that too, and let everyone know that's going to be an event.
Mhm. And
Did
I
you?
took this photo of this guy because I just thought he was so intriguing, man. I don't know who he was. I couldn't speak
Yeah.
his language, but
That is cool.
this guy was just interesting to me, intriguing. And those are mangoes, I believe they're selling just above them.
Yeah, they look like
delicious mangoes.
That last photo of you had a whole lot of fruit. Did you happen to go into that store?
I'm sorry, pardon?
The last photo had it looked like a fruit stand, and I'm wondering
Yeah,
if you happened
sure
to go
was.
there. Yeah. Did you happen to go in?
I don't recall if I went to that particular one, but I did. I was always buying fruit. I was always going into little corner stores and getting the fruit and veg there. Yeah, because they didn't have like a big commercial Western grocery stores. You bought from
Right.
little stores like that, little corner stores, same as in many places around the world. Many places are like that. Hello, Kivon6 wishes everyone is having a great night and early morning. Certainly was. Voting for circus stories. Absolutely, Rob Thunderheart. Circus stories. I agree.
Yeah.
Circus stories. Eh. Yeah, and again, colorful clothing, just folks waiting around. Waiting. I'd love to, man, I'd love to hear stories from this guy. I wonder what stories he'd have for us.
I wish I would have learned how to. I wish I would have got one of the headdresses and learned how to make that, the headdress,
Mm-hmm.
and then take it home. I mean, that what a treat. I'd wear it around just for fun.
Oh, for fun. Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
and mess with people in the city.
Ooh. Okay. Hey, it's our good friend Primo living BC. What's up, everybody? Good evening, Spider-Man brother. Hey, good evening to you. We're just talking about India. And this is one of the most impressive forts
Whoa,
I've seen in the world.
that's
This
huge.
this is in Rajasthan again.
Hmm.
The lot of deserts in Rajasthan. I actually rode a camel in Rajasthan. The Great Thar Desert is the desert close to this fort, and it's in the town of Jodhpur, Jodhpur, Jodhpur in India, and the biggest, the one big surrounding mountain, hill outcropping, has a fort built on it, and this fort is the Mehrangarh Fort in Rajasthan, India. And from here, you can go and Jaisalmer is a neighboring town, even more west, right on the border with Pakistan. Jaisalmer has a fort that's incredible as well, but this one was a little older and just bigger and really really cool. Just a really impressive fortress, and I can't imagine trying to attack it. You're dead meat.
Yeah,
I mean, you're dead meat.
just
Yeah,
rolling boulders off the sides and slinging arrows at you by the dozens.
yeah. And here, folks, I'm gonna make myself big here just for a second because I bought a postcard while I was there. So that is,
It's huge.
yeah, that's what I wrote. That's my writing at the time. Huge ancient fort in Jodhpur, India, and yeah, no, the ring light is a bit annoying, but yeah, that's the fort, and this is how you spell the word that I'm having trouble pronouncing. It'd be,
Kind of.
but anyway, you can
hard to-
imagine.
Yeah.
It's hard. But I'll try and pronounce it. Mehrangarh, Mehrengah Fort in Jodhpur. Yeah, incredible, just incredible. Oh, here it is. Here's another. Oh, it was founded in 1459
Wow.
by the ruler of the 15th ruler of the Rathore dynasty, Rao Jodha. Yeah, it's on a perpendicular cliff 400 feet above the city of Jodhpur. Invincible. Okay. Oh, this is actually. Oh shit! This is the ticket. This is a postcard / admission ticket. Okay. Yeah. So here it is, folks. That's the aerial view of the fort. And again, that's how you would spell it. The camera's just
Yeah,
not going
it's
to
hard.
focus. Damn it. It just won't focus on that. But anyway, you know what? I'm going to put the spelling right in the chat. Screw it. Yeah, but I'll exit myself from the major layout. There we go. So it's just an incredible fort. And here's how you spell it, chat. There it is. In Rajasthan. Yeah, in India. There you go. So I had a great time at this fort. I explored it. You can go right up to it. You can, yeah. This guy is just hanging out around the fort, waiting for tourists to pass by. He's playing songs and hitting a bongo. I thought there might be a snake in there, but I didn't see a snake at the time. But, yeah. Ooh, okay. Primo Living BC says, I grew up near Fort Erie. That fort looks much more impenetrable. I would say so. I would say. Oh, I rode no camel. Uh, I rode a camel in the Great Thar Desert and also in the Sahara Desert when I was in Morocco. I got another opportunity to ride a camel. And I've actually eaten camel's hump for my 33rd birthday in Hanoi in Vietnam. Well, they told me it was camel's hump. I paid for camel's hump. I mean, who knows? They could have given me anything, really. I wouldn't have known any different. William, do you mind reading this from our friend Kivan6?
Kivan6 says, Sikhs, I read they never cut their hair, so they carefully wrap it up in cloth and wrap it around their heads in a turban. The bigger the turban, the longer the hair. I had a neighbor. A neighbor of mine was Sikhs about 10 years ago, next where I lived in my previous home. And he was a really nice guy. I never asked him, and his wife was Sikh also. I didn't ask him, but I was under the same assumption that they don't cut their hair. But I just didn't feel, I didn't want to be rude. So, and then there's actually a Sikh community here in Seattle, and we have a summer parade. And it's coming up in about a month. I'm sorry, about 2 months from now. And they always have an entry in the parade, and the parade will last about 3 hours. So an entry meaning there'll be about a dozen of them, and they get placement in the parade. And the parade starts at the Space Needle and goes all the way down to the south end of downtown Seattle, probably about a 2 to 3 mile walk. And it's really a lot of fun, and it lasts for 3, 4, 5 hours. And
nice.
Yeah, and so you've got marching bands and the Seattle Seahawks girls.
Oh yeah,
they're
beautiful.
A huge group. Yeah, and so the Sikhs also have a group, good dozen people.
And here they are beating the guy with the stick. He's beating the heck out of the rug. Lots of rugs all through these.
Oh,
because with the stone floor, it'd be cold, right? So they have rugs everywhere.
And the beatings shall continue until morale improves.
And the rugs are clean. And the houses outside the fort. I'm on top of the fort here, looking down on the town of Jodhpur, and a portion of the town is painted all blue. And I'm told that is again for religious reasons. That's a religious reasoning why they paint all the houses blue. But yeah, very, very cool. It was a magnificent fort. I mean, you can see this is from the fort walls, so you get quite a commanding view. And anyone attacking that fort would be dead meat. And you can see the secondary outer defenses even further down. So this shot that I'm taking is from the very top of the tower from the fort. So yeah, it's a long way up there. And yeah, there you go. Okay, I don't know why I switched to black and white, but I did. There you can see how far above the town, city, I guess, the fort is. Yeah, quite impressive.
I wonder how many square meters that fort is in total. The walking
Thank you for
space.
finding the link to the fort. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought that would be cool. There's a cool picture there on that link too.
Hmm.
I mean,
Oh,
a cool nighttime photo of it.
and Rod Thunderheart says Wayne and Schuster, who are a famous Canadian comedy duo, Wayne and Schuster did a skit of a politician coming from Jodhpur. It was a hilarious skit. Oh man, it would be funny. I'd be curious to see. Primo, does you have a postal code, a VOH at the end? I bet you it probably does. Ah, my family's in Penticton. It says that means Valley of Heaven. Penticton is Valley of Heaven. I absolutely believe that. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Miss Catonic Badman. That shot looks old timey. I was fooling around trying to be creative because it's a really old fort. I mean, what did I say? 1459 or something?
Mm.
Holy shit! I got it right. It was 1459. Yeah. So it's an old timey shot for an old timey fort. Rajasthan has Rajasthan. It seems like it's a desert region, but it had princes and rulers and castles, and there was a few castles and forts in Rajasthan, and I've got photos of the other really impressive one. This was the biggest one and perhaps the most impressive, but the other castle is incredible as well. So there you go. And this that I'm standing beside had wheels on it, and it was like a cannon, but it had like 7 or 8 little barrels, like smaller barrels.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Cool.
cannons in the background.
Yeah,
Are
the
you
same.
standing? You're standing next to one of
Uh,
them. I mean,
yeah,
they look like cannons. They're not
on the wall.
cannons.
Well,
Yeah.
they are, but they're little tiny ones.
Okay.
Yeah, little tiny guns of some sort. They fire projectiles. Yeah.
You know, I ran into the size of this fort. Do you
Oh,
want to take a guess, please?
how big
Please
this? It was a big fort.
take a guess, please.
Oh, damn.
Use
I don't.
any denominated measure of area that you choose.
Well, I know a 10,000 square foot house is a mansion, so I'm gonna say 50,000 square feet.
I'm not sure how 50,000 square feet. I'm not sure how big 50,000 square feet would be really, but I can imagine that's probably the west wing at most.
Yeah.
This thing is 1,200 acres.
I'm sorry.
The
Its
complex,
footprint
the
is
complex,
12.
right?
Oh my
The
God.
complex spans 1,200 acres or 486 hectares.
I told you it was impressive.
If you're gonna make it big, make it real big.
That's the fort, folks. Yeah, incredible. One of the most impressive things I saw in India. Absolutely. And this is all the spices and wonderful spices that you can get fresh from India. It was incredible. Oh, do you mind reading this from our friend Primo Living BC?
Primo Living BC says, Suzanne, I have my public photography channel up now. I'll message you from that channel. I have some interesting stuff on it. It's crazy out there.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent. And Suzanne Eckstein talking about Penticton says Canadian Spider-Man used to be, not so much anymore as it was in 2020. Don't think I'll be going back. Ah, that's too bad. And British grape shot cannons, early version of a shotgun. Thank you, Q96. I suspected as much. Yes, thank you. Yeah, because the British did control India for quite a while. So yeah, they did have an influence here.
That's right. Yep. Until not too long ago, really, until the last century, something in the last century, right?
Yeah, but incredible spices everywhere, and the cardamom and just everything was fantastic. Okay, and I'm gonna get us out of here so people can really appreciate this image. This is an old scooter, like and it still functioned. Apparently, it still ran.
That would be cool to fix up and make it completely refurbish it. It'd be really neat.
Yeah, it sure would.
Looks like a pre-Vespa almost.
I was thinking it was a Vespa, but I don't know.
You see the name up on the over in the upper left. It looks like, but I can't read it.
No, I can't either. Yeah. Oh, okay. Kivan 6 really likes the spices. Yeah, it was incredible. I don't know how many dollars worth of spices are there, but I'm guessing it was quite a bit. Okay, and there's the
Oh,
fort. How do you like? That's a shot I took
that's
myself.
that's slick. Well, that's a
Yeah,
screensaver picture. That's for your
isn't
background.
it? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I can put it as our background here.
Look at all the even the lights are really colorful, like their clothing.
Yep.
Down
Yeah.
below.
Yes. Yep. Those were all shops, and you can go down and do a lot of shopping for clothes and food and whatever else you want right outside the fort. It was a quite an expensive uh, um, thing to go see, but you know what? It was incredible, and the history. If you like history, fantastic. It was beautiful. So
Did
yeah.
uh, what did you get to go inside the fort? Was that where they were doing the rug baiting? Was that inside the fort?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. And the picture of me up on top with the grape shot
Oh,
cannons. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We were just looking at that.
yeah.
What's wrong
That's
with
right.
you? Mhm.
No, I certainly did, and it was well worth the price of admission. Yeah. The postcard I held up is the actual admission ticket.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. Moving on. Oh yeah, I found these cuties. They were just standing around, and they put the black eye makeup on the kids for some reason, the boys and the girls. I'm not sure why, but it was a thing. Yeah. And again, the mom's coming up there behind, barefoot, just walking around bare feet. That was a thing. And here I am. I bought that. That is. It's like a pashmina material, but it's even like a high end pashmina. It's really finely woven blanket, and I ended up giving that to my grandmother. My mom has it now, and it would keep you warm. It's a silky fine material, but it's got thickness to it. I want to say it's a linen. It's a linen, and incredible colors and very intricate fine woven colors. I wish I had a close up of it. And man, you put that around you and that will keep you warm in any temperature. It's incredible how
Mm.
the craftsmanship. And so I went to the factory, I saw them make them by hand, and I bought one, and I think it was like $50, and it's worth hundreds, I'm sure, by now. But yeah, really, really cool. And it was just gorgeous. And it doesn't weigh very much at all, but it's thicker than a sarong, and it's I believe it comes from the underside of the throat of the of the where do pashminas come from? They come from llamas, don't they? I don't think it's goats. I think it's llamas. And this material comes from the throats of these animals. And man, such a fine, wonderful material.
Wow.
I wish I had bought one for myself, but yeah, no, every time I go to mom's house, she lets me snuggle in it, so that's
Mm.
okay. In the winter in New Brunswick, that's an awesome blanket to have. I hope you're enjoying it, Mom. Oh yeah, and these guys just making food with a big fryer there, just throwing it in, vegetarian, and they're just happy as shit, just making stuff. No. Oh, okay.
What do you suppose is in what do you suppose they're cooking in the pan there?
It's deep fried like chickpeas and lentils and
Mm.
yeah. Ooh, okay. Yeah. I think it was
Old
an old
Italian.
Italian Vespa, perhaps.
Yeah, did look Italian, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. And no reason to go back there Penticton was there to lay my mom to rest, and that took the entire family. Oh, right. Okay, Suzanne Eckstein. Yeah, I believe you. And Outsider Media, hello. Oh, okay, this is your public photography channel. Okay, great. Well, thanks for letting us see that. Amazing. Hey, thanks, Rod. And yeah, Outsider Media, otherwise known as Primo Living BC. Hello again. I'm big on curry, but only Madras curry. Ooh, I love all curries. All
Yeah, me
of
too.
curries. Yep. And yeah, the food in India was pretty good. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a view, and this is another famous fort in Rajasthan. In, like I said, a little further west. It's right on the border with Pakistan, actually. And this fort was on the Silk Road, the old famous trading route, the Silk Road, and it's Jaisalmer. I'm sure I'm massacring that pronunciation as well, but it's Jaisalmer, and the fort is named after the town. And actually, 3,000 people, like a big part of the town, still live in, work in the fort on a daily basis. So it's a living fort. Yeah, a big part of Jaisalmer resides in the fort, and I actually was able to stay on a hotel right on the fortress wall, like right on the outer wall, overlooking the town,
Really?
and it was incredible. Actually, stayed on the fort wall.
Do
It
you
was.
do you have pictures of that coming up?
Uh, I
Well,
might.
that would be
That
that's
well,
just the
that's
coolest thing. That's the coolest
those
thing, though, being
those
able to
those are.
stay.
I might have a video somewhere. There, these ladies carrying water because water's a problem in the desert, right? It's always a problem in
Yeah.
the Great Thar Desert. And there's the camel that I did ride on the Great Thar Desert, and they get up in two stages. It's not like a horse or an elephant where they just get up. You think you're done and you're not, because they get up again, because they lift their front legs and then they lift their hind legs. It's a two-stage process, and you better be, be aware of that.
Maybe strap on,
Yeah,
man.
that's right. Yeah.
Never been on a camel, so gotta do that one day.
Okay. Outsider Media says, Spider-Man, check out what's going on in the Abbey area. I'm recording all the nutty stuff and putting it online. It's good to know what's going on out there. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. In the Abbotsford area, I take it he means in near Vancouver. Yeah, I've seen the male children with the black eyeliner. Never understood it, but I never asked either. Okay, interesting, Suzanne. I'm okay. I think it is a religious thing. Do you mind? Oh, okay. Do you mind reading this, Will?
Kivan 6 says, cool. Protects the eyesight in high sun environments by blocking ambient solar glare reflected from the ground. That's like what baseball players and football players wear then,
And
I
Suzanne
would say.
agrees. Yeah,
Yeah, it does
yeah.
make sense.
Actually, I think the eyeliner is for the sun. It's like the football players. Yeah, absolutely, primo. Yeah, you're right. And no, not Italian, Scottish and Irish. Yeah, but I have been to Italy a long time ago.
Carla.
Hey, good to see you, Carla. Thanks for being here. Ooh, yari curry. I have not eaten yari curry. No, that's a hockey joke, folks. No, I'm pretty sure he would beat the stuffing out of me if I tried. Okay, so yeah, camel ride in the Great Thar Desert. That was incredible. Slept out in the desert underneath in just a thin blanket on the sand underneath the stars. This old dude and his two young sons took me and another backpacker out, and we just slept out there with the camels, and it was fantastic. And in Jaisalmer at the fort here, uh, they yeah they sell all kinds of food and water, so you can take supplies out with you. And I was actually able. They okay. So one of the stores there, one of the restaurants there, I'd gone to a couple of meals, and he said, "Hey, you booked a camel ride?" Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm going on a camel ride tomorrow. He goes, "Okay, I have something special for you." He comes and he says, and he sells me these little pot cookies, weed cookies, and one small little cookies. And he sells me a big one. He says the big one is for the camel, and you take the small one. And then you and camel can be on the same ride together out in the desert. And he said, they're not strong, but you can have a weed cookie for you and one for the camel. And he goes, the big ones, well, he says, the big ones are also for Israelis. He said, for the camels and Israelis, because apparently Israelis are, and I've heard this many times in my travels, Israelis
They like
can
to they like to get the cook.
party.
They get the cookie on.
They can handle their, they
They
can
can handle
handle
the
their,
cookie.
their party substances, apparently. Yep. Yep. There he is. There's a camel. Hey, camel. Big
Did you,
eyelashes.
did you name your camel?
I did not.
Oh, Spidey, come
Did-
on.
I know I should have, right? Wow. Curry, curry chicken in the slow cooker is my favorite. Agreed.
Mm,
Ooh,
yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna buy chicken tomorrow and do slow
we'll go
curry.
for that right now.
Yes. Famous Edmonton oiler from the dynasty years. Yes, Rod the Nerd. Yari curry was. Ooh, yes. Hey, thanks for being here. I'm really glad you're here, Carla Burton. No, I didn't expect to go this long, but India is an incredible place. And I think a second show for India is warranted, I would say. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I've got video and I've got crazy driving video.
Here's
Bunch
one of the
other
young.
pictures.
Okay, so the young the guy who owned the camels, he had two young sons that went out as tour guides with us, with me and this other backpacker. So he'd never heard music before, so I let him hear. He never heard music. Sorry,
And
from headphones.
yeah,
He'd never had headphones before.
sure. Yeah.
So I let him listen to my headphones with the he's listening to Rolling Stones, Painted Black right here. And it blew his little mind. He let me steer. He completely forgot about steering the camel. And so I'm now, and he's just preoccupied with the music, and he's fast forwarding through all the songs, and he's never heard earphones before. So here I am, and his father's out ahead of us, and I'm trying to steer the camel and make the camel sort of follow the direction, and the camel's not cooperating. It was hilarious, and this guy's totally hooked on the music, but he loved the Rolling Stones, loved them. Never heard headphones before. I doubt he'd heard the Rolling Stones before.
Mick Jagger and Keith Richards has hypnotized a lot of you.
That's it, man. You're right.
That's why those
Even
guys are the
India.
kings.
That's right. Do you mind reading this, please?
Kivan6 says, I'm always in awe of the knowledge that they built those beautiful forts with only hand tools and maximum effort, and probably a lot of people.
So I don't know if I've got a photo here of it, but one of the photos, if not, I'll bring it up for part 2. And it has a bunch of guys sitting in the hot sun, and they're sitting down on the cobblestones leading to the entrance up to the forts. In the forts, one of the main cobblestone streets in the forts, and they're sitting there with a hammer and chisel, no safety glasses, and their job is just to sit in the sun and beat indentations for traction, beat indentations in the stone, because the stone gets worn smooth by pedestrian traffic. And so they beat them with chisels so that they're textured, so that they have some grip, and so they're not smooth and slippery.
Yeah.
And that was their job. I don't know how many hours they do that for, but
see, that's what I'm talking about. You guys, folks, you go out to these places and you see this stuff, and I swear you'll come back home and you won't complain about shit for a year.
That's
you
right.
You won't say anything, because you've just seen the worst of the worst. The kind of living conditions and working conditions these people work in are things that are just completely foreign to us.
That's right.
It's brutal.
So, and I hope I have a picture of that. I'll find it for the next show if I don't. So here's one of the young kids, the farmer who owned the camels, and the camel lays down, and the camel doesn't care. The camels can carry a lot of weight, so this kid would just stand on the camel for the photo, and the camel didn't care.
Well,
and what young, energetic, young, fun kid helping out their dad with the business, learning how to be camel jockeys, I suppose, camel masters.
Camel is probably his friend, his buddy.
I'm absolutely. They were absolutely
his pet, practically. I mean, literally, probably was.
Ooh, do you mind reading this good tip from our friend Primo?
Primo Living BC says, Suzanne, it is so easy and it's impossible to mess up with the slow cooker. Dr. Pepper And the barbecue sauce is my number 2 in case of emergency.
Ooh, nice.
Dr. Pepper and barbecue sauce.
I like it.
Is this a concoction?
I like it.
You mix those together and you throw a bunch of chicken in it and stick
Uh-huh.
in the slow cooker.
I like it.
Is that what you do there?
Mhm.
I like that.
And so, oh yeah, and so the young kids that would run up and down the sand dunes having fun. They were playing. They were working / playing. Great sand dunes. The Great Thar Desert, folks. The Great Thar Desert. THAR.
Oh,
There's a night. How do you like that, Scylla?
that's cool.
You like that shot?
Did it get? What was the temperature like at night there? The
It was.
at
I
night?
had thin sleeping bag, blanket. It wasn't too bad. I don't recall. I think I had a hoodie. It wasn't that cold. It wasn't so bad. 15, 20, maybe 20. But I
Mm.
mean, when it's 40 in the daytime, 20
Yeah, that
feels
feels good.
cold. Kivan 6 says, we joke and call it guy liner today, but the tradition goes back before the time of Christ. Yep, I believe it for keeping the sun out.
Wonder what they used to use for that way back
Well,
then.
I meant, did you like Yari Curry? I do like Yari Curry, but I didn't see him play live, and I would have loved to. I would have loved to. So yeah, that is a camel silhouette as the sun's going down in the Great Thar Desert in Rajasthan. Here's the picture I was talking about. These guys beat traction divots in the tiles, in the cobblestones all day long in the sun. No safety glasses. That's their job, folks. Just sitting on the cobblestones and pounding divots for traction. Hey, Tony Stark of Iron. I have over 400 subscribers. I do. Yeah, thanks a lot for noticing. I sure do. I'm thrilled. And I really appreciate it, folks. And if you like this kind of entertainment, I do this every Thursday night. I have on different co-hosts. Thanks for being here, William Shakespeare.
Thanks for having me.
And we look
Always
at some
a
of the
pleasure.
photos. Yeah, some of the places I've been to. We look at the photos that I have actually. These are all photos I have actually taken, and just talk about what's in the photos. We talk politics, we talk culture, we talk food. We tend to talk a lot about the food, and just what people are doing over there and what our experiences were. Primo, with being from the Caribbean, we curry everything. We love roti in this house, so I do curried beef, curried chicken. Delicious, Suzanne Eckstein.
Wow.
Fantastic. So did you go to the Rajasthan area of India, William?
If I did, it would have just been during that event, and I was thinking about that and wondering did we actually creep over into Rajasthan? I'd have to look and see where on the map we were. I bet I could find where the event was because it was a special, some kind of a low-end amusement park, really.
Mhm.
Or we shouldn't call it that's rude. Let me take that back. It's an amusement park, but not the kind of amusement park that we're used to. It was the so-called rides. There was an elephant ride.
Ooh,
That you get to go on the elephant ride, and there
okay.
was one spinning thing standing up. It'd stand up and it would spin, or you'd stand there strapped in. It would spin around. But and there was a great hall for meeting, and we went in there and we started off there and played some kind of charades game of some kind, and I wasn't sure what the hell was going on, really.
Okay.
But we had a lot of people. We had like 50 or 60 people in this group that were all together, and it lasted 6 hours, this whole event that we had, and we did drive a long time to get there, probably a good 2 hours to get there.
Okay.
And back.
Well,
And
but it takes so long to drive even the shortest distance in third world countries, though. Really.
Yeah, I remember we drove through some pretty nasty potholes at some point, but I remember them talking about the food was from Rajasthan. I don't know if we were actually in Rajasthan. I just
Okay.
don't. I mean, I could tell if I looked at a map to see how close that is to Hyderabad. At this point, I have no idea if we were anywhere near it. But I remember them talking about that was the meal they were serving was Rajasthani food.
And what do you mind reading, Kivan 6?
Kivan has entered the call. That camel's name is definitely Roxanne. Looks like a Roxanne. I'll second that vote.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I could see that, Kivan. This is Roxanne the camel, folks. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Kivan. I think you're right. Oh, but it takes away subscribers. Oh, that's we don't want that. Thanks for being here, everyone. Appreciate it. And yes, it is free to subscribe. So if you like a particular channel on YouTube, the subscriptions are free, and it just shows YouTube that they should promote that channel more and introduce it to other people. So, yes, the Egyptian pharaohs definitely wore eye makeup, and yeah, it does, Carla Burden.
That's right. That's right. We see that all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
It'd be nice if somebody knew what they used to back in the day, all the way back to the Egyptians' day. What was it that they used? I don't know.
I'd
be curious.
I
know
It would
charcoal.
be an oil, but it was an oil
nasty.
type of makeup.
Well, maybe it was from a
still
tree.
working.
Maybe it was some kind of a rubber tree or something. You know, black tar rubber tree.
Tony Stark of Iron got distracted restoring Imperial Knight for Stark Hammer 40,000K. Okay, thanks for being here, Tony.
Stark
Even
Hammer
if you're
40,000K.
working at the same time.
Yeah.
And slavery, yes, for the
children.
For the makeup.
Oh. Huh.
For the Egyptian slaves? I don't know. Hard to say. And do you mind reading Primo?
Primo has just given the entire world his age. Rod, I was born in 1980.
Good year.
I remember that Edmonton Oilers team like it was yesterday. Glenn Anderson, Grant Fuhr, Messier, if that's right. And it was such a different game then.
Yep, that's true. So this guy is a tea salesman here down at the bottom left corner. He's out in the street corner, sitting on the sidewalk, out in the street, and he's just making tea in Jaisalmer here, and he sells the tea. He's called a walla. Any person selling something, my understanding, correct me, anyone who might have a different opinion, but anyone selling anyone is a walla. So a chai tea sales guy would be a chai walla. So we call him a chai walla. So the chai walla, they just set up shop on the street side there, and a little propane bottle, and they make chai tea, and it's delicious. And I don't know if you experienced this when you were in India, but the chai wallas here in Rajasthan would sell the chai tea, in little clay cups.
Yes.
And when you were done drinking the tea, and I have the clay cup, but it's at my parents' house in New Brunswick. I don't have it here. But when you're done with the clay cup, you just throw it on the ground, and it's because it came from the earth, and it just goes back to the earth, and there's no plastic involved. You just drink the tea, and the clay cup gets smashed on the ground, or take it home as a souvenir.
I think I took mine. I think I kept it for a while. I know I don't have it anymore. It probably broke.
Mine did chip. It's very fragile.
Yeah.
It's just temporary. You're not
right.
Because
it's just meant to be smashed. It's meant
after you drink it.
Right.
Yeah, a handful of
decay,
tea.
Right. Break down and.
Yep. He says that's the recipe with the Dr. Pepper and the barbecues.
Weird,
but it's actually really good. I believe that. I've heard of Coke.
Dr. Pepper and barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
And barbecue sauce, cool.
Ooh, yeah. Wayne Gretzky indirectly invented the 2-line rule. Yeah, because he could score from like the other end of the rink, so you can't throw a puck across 2 lines anymore.
You see, you come to a Canadian Spider-Man travel show, and out breaks a hockey debate show.
It's already 1:30. Holy crap! We've been going 2 hours and 19 minutes. Thank you for joining me. It is past bedtime. Yeah, it's past bedtime for me. Curried lamb over rice with naan. Yep. When I lived in Tokyo, there was believe it or not, an Indian restaurant around the corner, staffed by Indians, and they made the best curry. Delicious. In Japan, of all places. There's the chaiwala. Oh, darn it. Like the way that YouTube cropped the photo, it got chopped off his head. That's unfortunate. I'll clean that up for next time. But yeah, here he is just making tea, sitting down on his little stool, making tea on the side of the road. You can see the little teapot he's got there, and he just pours little clay cups, and there's your tea. Ooh, do you
Is it
recognize that?
the Taj Mahal?
Darn right. In Agra. Did you get a chance to see this?
No.
It was
I don't know how far we were away from it. We would have had no time. We had a tight schedule.
it was a hell of a train ride, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a dusty long train, about 5 hours from Delhi.
I was going to ask if that's what the one you said earlier.
Yeah. Well, I also did an overnight one from down to Mumbai as well. So, and that one I actually, again, a sleeping car. But yeah, this is Rod Thunderheart says Primo living BC. I couldn't believe when they traded Gretzky. I thought it'd be an Oiler for life, like Lemieux or Iserman. That was back in the Enforcer days. No more Morty McSorleys in the NHL today. No, or Todd Bertuzzi's would be the last generation of those guys. Yep, that's true, Primo. So yeah, this is the Taj Mahal, folks. It's actually a mausoleum for one of the rulers. What do they call them? The Raj, I guess, or the top ruler.
Raj, yeah, that might be it. Raj.
Yeah. His wife. This is a mausoleum for his wife who died, and then he's buried in there too.
Wow.
In the tomb, and the Taj Mahal is actually smaller than you'd expect. It's a smaller building than you'd believe. The grounds are immaculate, the gardens and so forth, and the stone. It's all made out of the same stone. It's actually translucent, so that it's not opaque, so that when you shine a light through it, like a flashlight through the corner of the building, the light passes actually through the stone. It's like a quartz almost, and it lights up. It's like a sandstone, but not, because it's got that quartz characteristic that that light passes through it. It's quite an incredible stone and incredible building. Just amazing architecture. It was gorgeous.
Do they light it up at night? I am just trying to think. Have I ever seen a photo of them? That'd be really cool.
I'm sure they do. I didn't see it at night. I was only there in the daytime.
If they lit it,
delicious.
If they put lights around the edges inside at night and then light it up on the inside, that'd be really cool.
So Kevon6 says they put coal as the eyeliner. That makes sense.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Kohl. Right. I wonder if that's why Kolkata is called Kolkata. Is that where coal comes from? I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Hockey is a business. Yeah. Yeah, me too. But Dad slapped me down with hockey's a business. So that's why Gretzky had to leave. Yeah, it's a business, but Gretzky's a national treasure. I don't think he should have left. Ooh. Suzanne Eckstein says curried lamb with rice and black eyed peas. I mean, maybe. Rod Thunderheart does not sleep. He is a machine, according to Suzanne. And do you mind reading this from our friend Carla Burton?
Carla Burton says, Canadian Spider-Man, I X'd you a link to see the Sydney Arbors Colour Festival on a YouTube live stream.
Oh, thanks, Carla. Fantastic. I do love the Sydney Harbor area. I love the Sydney Key there. Fantastic. Thanks, Carla. I appreciate that. My internet is not awesome today. I'm having issues with X. But yeah, the Taj Mahal is in a town called Agra, Agra, Agra. and it's a 5-hour train ride from Delhi, if I recall correctly. And I rode in third class, and there was this farmer and his wife that I'll put us back up here so people are actually seeing us talk. So this farmer and his wife, I remember, were sitting across from me, and it was packed, third class, packed. And I don't think they'd ever seen a white person before, because the two of them, they
Yeah.
got on board the train outside of Delhi, like on one of the stops in a rural area. And for 3 hours till we got to the destination, they just stared at me, like
Yeah. Yep.
literally full on stared at me. It's like, well, and I was like the only white guy on the train. And a lot of places in India, I was the only white guy around. It was, yeah, I got used to it, I guess. But yeah.
I experienced the same thing, and I went walking through the boroughs one night with my work partner, and just because I felt safe and I didn't feel threatened by the society at all. I didn't feel
Yep.
these people were not a threatening society. So I wanted to walk through the poorest part of town we could find, and it wasn't very far outside of our hotel. And dirt road with cars and motorcycles running up and down, and kids running up to us and gawking at us. This was 2008. So,
All right.
I mean, that it doesn't seem like long time ago, but I think in internet terms, it was a long time ago. So they hadn't, we could tell these kids had never seen a white person before. And there was two of us.
All right. Yeah.
So yeah, they were following us around and, jumping up and down. And
So there is inside the Taj Mahal, and that's the stone, and you can see the intricate inlaid, like that's not paint. You see that colored work
yeah,
above?
yeah,
None of that is paint, and the gold lines that's all inlaid like
stone.
stone.
Whoa.
Yes, and see
Whoa.
the carved. Can you see? I'm gonna get us out of here so they can see the intricate carvings on the. I wish I knew what color kind of. It's like a quartz stone that's translucent, but it's not quartz because they can carve it really, as you can see, intricately.
Intricately. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what the Taj Mahal is made of. That's a good question, but all that it's inlaid stone. Do you know how long that would have taken? Oh my! And it's perfect. It's friggin' perfect.
This guy must
Like
have really loved his wife. How about that?
I guess, eh? Unbelievable. Yeah, just unbelievable. The Taj Mahal, folks. Taj Mahal in Agra, India. Just one of the wonders of the world, and I definitely understand why. Just incredible. Ooh. Okay,
Ooh.
so here's flying over the Indian Himalayas. Now we're flying to the northwest. So it's directly north of Delhi, north of Delhi in a territory called Ladakh. And the town that we're flying to in the Indian Himalayas is quite far up there. It's called Leh, Leh. And there's a lot of Tibetans that live there. They've fled Tibet, and it's almost like a little mini Tibet. It's crazy. But yeah, that's the Indian Himalayas, folks. I wanted to go to Nepal, but at the time there was some major weather going on, and I couldn't get to Nepal. So that's why I was in India, right? I wanted to go to Nepal, but I couldn't get access to the Himalayas there because of weather or something. And so I decided, well, India's got Himalayas, so let's just go to India. So I did, and there are the Himalayas. So I flew over them and then drove. I flew one way, in one of the most incredible, beautiful flights I've ever done, landing in Leh, in Ladakh, and then took a jeep ride out with 10 of us. So drove out back to New Delhi. It was like a 12-hour ride from hell. Incredible.
Yeah. And it sounds slightly frightening.
Good night, Rod. Good night to you. Gotta hit the sack. Sorry, guys. Well, indeed, it's because I have pictures of overturned buses where you know that they didn't survive, and the bus just kept rolling for 300 meters, rolling. There you go. One of the most, and I'm going to remove us because this is just gorgeous. Here's the Indian Himalayas, folks, with a river cutting through it. This is on the border, almost close to the border with Pakistan in the north of India. So you've got China north of this, and then Pakistan to the west. Yeah,
That
unbelievable.
that looks frightening. I mean, there's nothing. You're out there. There's nothing out there.
So on the ride back, on the Jeep ride back, because this is on the border with Pakistan, there's a military road stop checkpoint that that was in the middle of nowhere, literally. And it was
Wow.
just a couple of tents and about 12 guys and one guy in charge. And they were checking passports. Well, I was in India and the Chinese embassy had my passport because I was planning to go to China next.
Oh boy.
And in Delhi, they had it for 3 days. They had it for 3 days. And so I went up and I wasn't leaving India. So I said, that's okay. I don't need my passport. I have photos of it at least. But because it takes them a couple days to process it. So the Chinese embassy had my passport. Here I am in the middle of nowhere, as you can see, like in the Jeep,
Yeah.
in this military encampment. And this sergeant or whoever he was, he ruled the land for 100 miles.
Yep.
Everything he said was
Right.
like a god.
Yeah.
And
He was the
so
law.
he was, and I could tell he wanted a bribe. And I said,
Ugh.
and
Ugh.
I pretended to
Yep.
be the most naive. I had no idea what he was talking about, but I ran and got my camera and I showed him pictures of every page of my passport, and it was and I faked ignorance. I pretended to be the dumbest son of a bitch, that tourist white guy just got off the banana boat. He was dropping hints about bribes and I had no idea. So anyway, he eventually let me through, even though I didn't physically have my passport, but I had pictures. And everyone on the Jeep, it was a bunch of tourists and backpackers and from all over the world. And, Australians and they were yelling like, just get in the Jeep. Just tell him to take a hike. And I was, guys, he's got if he wants us all dead, we're dead. Like, shut up.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, so that was my traveling along the Pakistan border of India with no passport story, and I can't believe I got away without paying the bribe. No,
He
yeah.
was like Cartman with authority.
Well, just pretend to be. Believe it or not, I play stupid really well, really
Oh,
convincing.
I mean that guard was. He was Cartman.
Yeah, no
He was
kidding.
Cartman.
He
Had
was.
full authority.
He had full authority. We could have been disappeared and no one would ever know. Absolutely. So this is and of course this was way before cell phones. I mean, this is 19 years ago, so I certainly didn't travel with a cell phone then. And there weren't any cell phone towers within
Yeah,
1,000
right.
kilometers of there. So this is landing in Leh, the town of Leh in the northern Himalayas of India, and you can see just the gorgeous landscapes. I mean, it was just amazing and desolate. And
And
okay.
a landing strip.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh.
Do you mind reading this from Primo Living BC?
Primo Living BC. I believe we're talking about hockey here. Says,
Yep, indeed.
to Rod, it definitely is a business. I was heartbroken when I came to that realization. When Roy left the Canadians was that moment for me. I thought it was a Hab for life. I thought he was a Hab for life.
That happens. It is a business.
And then Suzanne Eckstein says, "Well, gentlemen, where?" And Carla said, "It's way past my bedtime for this old gal. Have a great night, everyone. Peaceful out, all. Peace out, all. Thanks for coming out and supporting Canadian Spider-Man."
Hey, thanks a lot for saying that, Suzanne Eckstein. And yes, thank you everyone for being here. It is late. It's like it's 1:45 in the morning. We'll wrap it up by 2. And thank you for staying for the long haul, William Shakespeare. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And Primo Living BC says, "Oh wow, that building is beautiful." And I'm assuming, he was talking about a previous building. Yeah. So this is in, like I said, a lot of a lot of people from Tibet in this little town. It looks like a little Himalayan Tibetan town in northern India, right in the Himalayas in Leh. And I got to hike in the Himalayas from here, use this town as a base, and it was really incredible. Just a beautiful little town. And you got away from all the noise of the big cities and the pollution. And yeah, oh, okay. You're talking about the Taj Mahal was beautiful. Yeah, you're darn right it was. Yeah, just incredible little mountain town, well away from the rest of India. Because India, honestly, after 2 weeks of going through the big cities of India, honestly, Will, I was starting to lose my mind. I was just like,
Yeah, I don't
I was
blame you.
getting angry, and yeah, it was just
It's a different world. I
good
mean,
night, good night,
that
everybody. I
that's one
don't
of
think
the
it was limestone. No, I don't think it was limestone. Sorry, go ahead. Well,
it's I was just thinking it's one of those things about traveling to these foreign countries that are so foreign, and you almost have to pinch yourself and say, am I still on the planet? This place is so
mhm,
the culture is so different, everything they do is so different,
mhm,
the environment, um but that's like kind of the exciting thing is that I recall in this place, and but this India and China especially, those two places where every place every day you'd wake up thinking today is going to be an adventure. I don't know what the hell I'm going to run into.
that's exactly
But your nerves are a little bit on edge because of it, but you realize you're living. You really are living.
100%. You're right. And sometimes I wonder if, because I mean, living in Whistler Ski Resort was pretty exciting. But now that I'm just in the countryside, I mean, I, yeah, sometimes I do miss a little bit of the excitement. And that's why I save up money and go backpacking because I really feel alive when I'm backpacking. And it's hard to describe to, I mean, you understand because you've experienced that, but it's hard to describe to some of my friends that haven't traveled much. Do the pillars make it seem bigger? Yes. The Taj Mahal, 100%. Absolutely. I believe that. Sorry, what were you going to say, Will?
Um,
About describing
well,
to your friends about travel and that sense of
well,
adventure?
yeah. I mean, it's it's nice to convey your experiences, and I'd like to. But you just want to share so much of it. Um,
Hmm.
I don't want friends to think like, oh, you're traveling around the world, blah 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 blah. You know, all this and all that. Like, no, I'm trying to say, get the hell out of your house.
Yeah,
Go
I'm not
see the world. You will find a different side of yourself that you did not know existed when you
agreed.
fall into an environment that you are not familiar with, surroundings that you don't understand, signs that you can't read, language that you can't understand. And believe me, you will feel like you've been dead every single day until you are landed in that place, and now you're
Hmm.
alive. It's the strangest feeling in the world. You won't regret it. You get the addiction to it. This is why I completely understand why you go around all these places and go to some of these crazy things like trekking through the desert. You know, when you're at the mercy of in that truck, for example, of the driver
Hmm.
and that vehicle that you're on, and you're going over
Yep.
this road for 6 hours, and please God, let this vehicle make it to the end, because if it doesn't, the adventure is really going to be started then.
That you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there you go. They You should never have your passport. No, the Chinese embassy for processing, they do. I think they actually send it back to head office in New Delhi or wherever. Or no, I gave it in New Delhi. They had it. The Chinese embassy had it. They might have sent it to China in those 3 days. Who knows? But China is very particular about who comes into their country. And yeah,
Yeah.
they wanted. I wanted to go to China, and I wasn't going to argue. Like, you want my passport? Okay, I'll take photos of it. I've got photocopies, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and God help you if you're somebody that they don't want in
What?
your
Yeah.
country. If you give them their
Yeah.
passport, they
You have
might
no.
just let you in, and you might not be
Yeah.
getting out. So
Well, I love China, and I'll do another live stream one of these Thursday nights with China because I love the country. I don't like the government, obviously, or the politics, but
right,
the country itself. I have beautiful photos of, and one of these nights we'll do
yeah,
that.
It's a lot. There's a lot to see in China,
Hmm.
and it is, the people are really nice, and the food is,
Hmm.
it's unbelievably fantastic.
Well, I'd love to have you back for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I could. Boy, that's going to be a long show.
Yes, well, we'll have to do it in parts. We should have done this one in 4 parts, but we'll wrap it up here pretty quickly. I've got a few amazing photos of Leh left, though, from the Himalayas. So, Stark of Iron, do you mind reading this from our friend Tony, please?
Uh, Stark of Iron says, "From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. I claimed the strength and certainty of steel. I aspired to the purity of the blessed machine.
And
Your kind claim to your flesh as if it will not decay and fail you. One day the cold biomass that you called a temple will, oh, it will, and you'll beg my kind to save you. But I'm already saved, for the machine is immortal. Even in death, I serve as the Omniscience."
ooh, Omniscia. That's a new word. I like it. Huh. Ooh. Yeah. The staring is crazy, eh? Lots of staring. Yeah, no kidding, Primo BC. Yeah, I don't think they'd seen a foreigner before. Yeah. I have a blonde daughter. I would worry for her. Yeah, that she'd definitely get stared
Yeah,
at, Carla
yeah.
Burton. Ooh, white quartz marble. Well,
Mm.
but it was more. It couldn't have been quartz marble because quartz marble is hard to work with, and these carvings were really intricate. And just incredibly well ornate carved. I don't think you can do that with quartz, but without it chipping. But what the hell do I know? I haven't ever tried to carve anything. But yeah, Indian Himalayas in Leh, up in the north. You now on the drive, if you're driving, you head north from New Delhi or Delhi, straight north. You pass through a town called Manali. Manali is famous for a lot of marijuana. And then you keep going north and you'll drive right into the Himalayas, and that's what you'll see, the town of Leh. And you'll see a lot of Tibetan prayer flags and a lot of Tibetans. And this guy, okay, I had breakfast from here for the 3 or 4 days I was there. Um, and I just 2 rupees. So that was, what was it, 40 rupees to the dollar. So we're talking, yeah, two rupees for each one of these. And it was just dough. He was mixing the
Mm.
guy beside him was mixing the dough by hand in balls, and then he'd flatten them on this little marble cutting board, and slap them inside. This is a furnace uh, like it's a brick furnace, and they just slapped it to the inside of the wall of the furnace, and it would bake, sticking to the inside of the wall. And it was just this, it's like an old cowboy recipe, like a bread dough. And I had 4 or 5 of those, and they were good for the morning. It was delicious.
And
So
look
it was
how,
real.
look at, he's got dough and flour all over him. Both of them
Yeah,
do.
that's it.
Huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were, I don't know what they were, burning charcoal at the bottom, and they'd just stick these to the side, and they'd cook. Taj Mahal, a gift for a crush. That's exactly what it was. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, Carla. Sorry, wife. Yes, a gift for a wife, a dead wife. Good night, Rod Thunderheart. We got to do a trio with you when we can. Yes, I agree, William Shakespeare. Exactly.
She was talking
And
about your passport there when you're giving
oh,
your
yep,
passport up. Yeah.
yep. And Bhutan is really close to outsiders too. They want to protect their culture. Well, it's probably
Mm.
good. It's yeah. Can you do this from our friend Kevon6?
Respect my authority.
That's right. Perfect. That's why, yeah, the guy was in control, man. So these, like I said, it's a lot of Tibetan people live in northern India in the Himalayas. It's the same mountain chain, and so these are Tibetan prayer flags, and this really old structure. I don't know what it used to be, but really old. And this was on like I said, on the hillside surrounding the town of Leh. And there we go. Ooh, there we go. That's a good.
Oh, that's a pretty sky.
That is gorgeous. Yeah, I like that. I like that photo. That's a good one. Still trying to put on weight after the drinking the water.
Water episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I was still underweight here in this photo for sure. Yeah, but just gorgeous. Okay, so I booked myself on a hike overnight. 'Cause like I said, I was up in the town for probably 4 days, I guess, or 4 nights. And this was our guide, and me and this British backpacker, this lovely blonde British girl, and her and I were two of the only white people in town, pretty much. But we booked ourselves on a guided tour. This Sherpa took us up, and we hiked through the Himalayan mountains, and we hit the pass was up 5,000 meters, which is like more than twice, 2.5.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's more than 2.5 times the height of Whistler Mountain.
Yeah. 12,500 feet, something like that.
Yeah, it's massive.
Is that
Yeah.
right? Taking a guess there. That's
should
way
be.
down out there.
It is. It's one of the highest passes in the world.
Air's thin up there.
Yep. And man, so she was fit. She was fit. She had no problem keeping up with me. We could not keep up with a guide hardly. And these old Tibetan people, there she is. I want to say her name is Liz. They passed by us, this old couple with a donkey, and they were like 70 years old, and they passed us, no problem. But so we camped in tents there. Yeah, we tented it there. There's high up on the pass in the Himalayas. Gorge, like ultra blue sky. Like you're really close to the sun up there, Really good way to get a sunburn.
You're right. Getting some serious UVs up there.
Yep.
And that's snow in the background there, right?
It is. Yes. Brick and lime mortar. Yeah, and don't forget, in New Delhi, it hit 40 degrees. In Rajasthan, it hit 50 degrees Celsius, which is 105, I think. So it was 105 in Rajasthan, and here we are in the Himalayas in the north, and with snow. A vineyard with a red sandstone and marble. Ooh, gorgeous. Thank you, Carla.
I think she was talking about the Taj Mahal, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. Brick in lime mortar. Okay.
That's that special carving that we were wondering how maybe this is how it was made.
Mm-hmm. We love you guys sharing it. I married a pilot so I could travel. Then I had 8 kids, so I didn't want to travel. I could understand traveling with 8 be rough. Whenever something goes wrong, I was thinking, at least it's a good story. That is absolutely true, Carla.
She just needs her own airplane, and you're set.
Okay, so 2 rupees is 4 cents. Yeah, that's crazy for a New Zealand cents. But yeah, the sky was incredibly. I remember the sky being so deep blue there. Yeah, there she is. Hey, I don't know where she is, but if you're seeing this, drop me a line, Canadian Spider-Man. Yeah, she was a great hiking partner. Yeah, she was, I think, 19 at the time, and I was like, 35 at least. And there are the horses that had carried supplies, so they carried the tents and food and so forth. And it was just gorgeous. Like, here you go, Indian Himalayas, folks. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, just spectacular. Yeah, unbelievable. And look, you can see the curve of the earth from the Himalayas. See, it's not flat.
Yeah.
Not a lot of garbage on that hike either. I don't know.
Nice. That's good.
I know Nepal has. We did see a couple of piles of plastic water bottles, but at least they were in a pile and taken out at some point. I suppose
people packing their trash with them. It sounds like
a lot of. We certainly did.
Yeah,
we certainly did. Yeah. Carla Burton, was I struggling with the oxygen?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, because I'd spent at that point. No, because I'd spent a couple of days already up in Leh at the height, and we went slow. We went really, really slow.
You got a sunburn going on right there.
Oh my goodness! Already. Yeah, because I'd been a month in India or 3 weeks in India at this point. Yeah, in the deserts of Rajasthan. But yeah, no, the sky was gorgeous, and the air was thin. And I got fatigued. I mean, I didn't get a headache, but I got fatigued a lot easier than I should have been down it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so this is the couple. the couple of locals just coming up with their pack horses, and they passed us. They had to be 70 years old, and the two of us were fit and young, and they blew by us. We could see them coming from a long way, and yeah, they just blew right by us. It was crazy. Himalayas, folks, and look, the horses are shorter. They have a very short stature for mountaineering, I suppose. And the horses didn't care about the weight. They didn't seem put by it at all. Oh, there we go. There's our guide. And we had, basic Indian food. All he cooked and prepared everything for us right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is an adventure.
It sure was, man. Okay, and so up at the
nice.
there, these are Tibetan prayer wheels, right? So you have to go around because there was a temple up in Leh. That, like I said, Tibetans live there, so they have a Tibetan temple. And I think we had to walk around 3 times and spin each of the wheels as we walked around. We had to walk around in a certain direction 3 times.
Are you supposed to
Clockwise.
incant? Are you supposed to incant anything, or think, or like have a wish or something like that, or?
Oh shit! Don't tell me that, because I didn't.
Please let the blonde girl give me her phone number.
No, and so just gorgeous scenery. Oh, hey, I suppose I should put us up here so people know that we're here.
Wow, this is cool.
Gorgeous scenery. Hey, Stark of Iron just finished your official Doctor Who parody. That's fantastic, Tony. Congratulations. Good luck with it. Yeah, it was the flight into here. It was just beautiful, just gorgeous, as you can imagine. Okay, so while I was staying there, I went to the guide's house, and after the hike up through the mountains, he invited me to his home for a meal. So this is his home, and that's his bathroom. And that hole in the ground is exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
That little candle. I had a candle.
Oh.
And there was a little hole, and this dropped down, I don't know, like 20 feet or wherever to the one below. But yeah, that's just all dirt. That's what and this was his house. This was in his house. This was his bathroom.
Wow.
That's how they live. And I remember showering in the place I was staying. It was a little hostel, and here they're doing construction there. Just all old school technology. And I remembered they didn't have running water in the hostel out in this town, this mountain town of Leh. So if you wanted to shower, you would tell them, and 20 minutes later, they would bring you a bucket of hot water and then a big wash tub, and you would get naked and stand in the wash tub and pour the bucket of hot water over you and wash yourself that way. And that's how the hot water came.
It's like camping.
Literally, yeah, that's right. So here's the construction of some buildings up in Leh, and just gorgeous, man, gorgeous.
Is there a glacier up there, maybe?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there would be. Flying over, I'm sure I saw glaciers.
I would imagine,
but I didn't actually get up to touch any of them. I went to India to get warm. I was in Thailand and India to be warm.
Yeah, here you go. Right.
I left Canada, and here I am in the snow again. Excellent. I should be touching grass, but it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, India was ugly and beautiful all in one. And fellow backpackers, before on my way to India, I had planned to go there a little before when I was in Thailand, and people had come back from India were saying it's a land of extreme opposites, extreme wealth, extreme poverty, extreme opportunity, and anything is possible in India. India is like unlike any other country I've been in. Those extremes are like, but anything is also possible. It's just okay. So I told you that on the Jeep ride back, we did see overturned vehicles where people didn't survive, and this is one of them.
Wow.
Do you know that there's a show on the History Channel? I believe it was called Highway Through Hell or Ice Road Truckers.
Oh, yeah, Ice Road Truckers. I've watched that crazy show. Those crazy bastards.
Okay, so Ice Road Truckers, after they did ice road truckers. Those same people, they went to India to this highway, and they got them, and they filmed it for like a week. It was called Highway Through Hell or something like that. World's Most Dangerous Drives. That's it. World's
Oh,
Most Dangerous Drives. And they drove this highway that I drove. And I mean, I wasn't driving, but there was 10 of us in this Jeep, and the driver, he drove 12 hours, man, and he was exhausted. And then he slept for like a couple hours, and then he drove back.
oh
It was
my God.
crazy. But all on the way there, like there's people were driving, and they would go around blind corners and pass. And I asked, like, what's going on? Like, why would they pass on blind corners? And these people are very religious. They honestly believe that if it's their time to go, it doesn't matter. Like, it's their time. Like, God chooses it. So what they do has no effect on it. And that, like, it's the will of the gods. And so they just drive like there's no tomorrow. And it's crazy. But you did see some rollovers, and they rolled for a long time. Imagine rolling down that. You're not going to stop rolling for quite a while. But yeah, world's most dangerous drives, and they had the truckers from Ice Road Truckers drive up here, and they couldn't believe it. They were saying, "This is crazy!" Like, I don't think they even completed it. I think they had to get towed out of a few places.
Oh, yo, man, that just gotta suck. Waiting for a tow truck in this part of the world.
Man. Oh, haha, William Shakespeare. I just put you guys on my big TV and saw your name on your avatar. Nice.
And Carla's the first person to mention it.
What the hell? Srinivas Shakespeare? Shankscarberg? Oh my God.
Okay, Srinivas. It's a very, very common Indian name, and Ravi Shankar is one of the most beloved musical icons of India of all time.
Nice.
So
okay.
I figured,
That's fun.
Shankarberg.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I gotta put on a costume for the show.
Of course. Yeah, just okay. That is kind of a glacier-fed lake, and I believe there was a glacier just above this. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, it's such a big landmass, and you're so deep into the mountains. There's got to be a glacier that's built up there right now. By now, I mean, at least over the last 10, 20 years or so.
Carla Burton says, you see roads on cliffsides in South America that are scary. Yep.
Yeah.
Been on some of those too in the Andes. But for some strange reason, it just works for them. Mm-hmm. Indeed. I think we're just coming up to... So these guys, they were working on the highway. I don't know where they were, just in the middle of the road, miles and hours from nowhere, and they were just doing road work.
Whoa.
I got no idea. And okay, so I did treat myself to an Indian restaurant before I left. So this is stuffed rice and peas inside those parampidams or whatever they're called, fried dough. And all the different kinds of curries and chutneys and sauces. That was pretty delicious. And here's yaks going up half the road. I think they're yaks or cows. I know the horns look weird, don't they?
Yeah, yaks. Yeah, are these yaks? Is that right?
I think maybe. Look at the horns.
I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if I've ever actually seen a picture of a real yak. It seems like some childhood, the name of a childhood animal that we know of, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen one.
In my travels, I kind of want to say that's a yak. I think that might be a yak, yeah. And the trees do look tropical, Carla Burton. You're not wrong. That's in Delhi. So that's in Delhi or New Delhi, but that's in Delhi. So that's pretty hot. It's in the middle latitude of India. So it's definitely pretty warm there. Like I want to say 40 degrees and up Celsius. Okay, this is the last photo of the night. So I went to use, before leaving Delhi, and I'll just put us on the side here. This is a men's bathroom stall, and there's just a trough running, but and you just sit there, and there's no doors on them, and you just sit in your little stall. People walk by you, and you just do your business, and everything floats by on the stall, on the trough, and everything goes down the stream. So how's that? Lovely. That would, yeah. You have no privacy in India.
For all these photos that we've seen here tonight, I want to mention to the folks listening, if you haven't seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire, whatever you do, go see that movie. That
Yes.
you will get a real true
you go.
taste of what it's like in India, with a fantastic story, so well done. It will break your heart. Bring the Kleenex. It is a fantastic film, but you will see in action the type of lifestyle that Canadian is showing here tonight, and it's awesome. Slumdog Millionaire, and with a fantastic soundtrack, by the way.
It is. I like that, but it's a
name.
It's heart wrenching.
Yeah, it is. But very well worth it. You will not forget that film.
Do you mind reading this from Kivon 6 as we end up the show here?
Kivon 6 says, standing at the precipice of desolation, one cannot help but stare and contemplate their existence while in awe of the sheer expanse before you. Very true. That's it. That's what you do when you're, I mean, just arriving there, coming out of the airport alone was the first.
Oh my goodness.
That was the first shock right then and there. And then it just keeps, it grows and grows as you, I arrived at night, middle of the night, and still it was pretty overwhelming. Starting with even, the smell. I remember smelling a strong sense of oil in the air.
And
do you remember
urine.
that?
It's urine and all of it. Yeah.
Right there, and it just keeps growing every, and then racing down the road in the vehicle at night, seeing things on the side of the road. You're thinking to yourself, "Boy, we're not in Kansas anymore."
No kidding.
And things that you're not going to see on the news, you're not going to see on television or anything in print. Generally speaking, maybe that's not fair to say these days. We see so much on Twitter. And YouTube,
like being hit like an oven opening. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so right. Yeah, you're in the when you if you come in through the airport, it's air conditioned in the airport, and then the doors open and wham, as soon as you exit, right?
That's true. Yeah, it is because the airport's all air conditioned. Okay, so let's take a look. This is Varanasi, the town of Varanasi, where the Ganges River is. There's the bus station to give you an idea of the traffic. It might be a little loud, folks, but let's take a look at this.
Varanasi bus station.
And so that's Varanasi bus station, and that the little midget guy was walking over at the. I think he wanted some rupees for the video, but wasn't gonna. You get that a lot in India. Like you're always see some places you go to, like Mexico, you can relax, like southern Mexico, or even some beaches in Thailand, you can just relax. In Europe, you can just relax. But a lot of places in India and Cambodia, people are always after a bit of money. They won't even give you directions without some money. So it's not, you're always on your guard and worried about your possessions, I suppose. But still, it's definitely worth exploring. It's the adventure. It's not a relaxing vacation like a beach, perhaps in Dominican Republic, but the adventure is well worth it. And I've got a photo here of the massive fort in Jodhpur. So here it is, that huge fort. Here's the video for that.
This is the town of Jodhpur in Rajasthan in India, and there's the massive fort that dominates the town. It's never been conquered. I can't pronounce the name, but it starts with an M. Absolutely massive. It's a nice little town.
The name of
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the pronunciation here, but it looks like Merengar.
Mehering. Say it again.
Right. Mehrangarh.
Merengar.
Mehrangar.
Merengar. Yes.
Looks like what you're saying. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mehrangar.
That's awesome. And let's see. I have one more. While I was in India, I was on top of a roof of a hostel I was staying at in Jaisalmer in Rajasthan, and I was just up there enjoying the evening, cooling off, having a snack, I think, and through the streets, this procession with music and like 100 people started winding through the streets below me as I was up on the rooftop at night. And it's a wedding procession, and the groom is on a white horse, and he's all dressed in white. So I've got that video to share to end off on. So let's take a look at that. Are they Stan names more north? I didn't know. Rajasthan is just a region of desert in the west. I don't know if there's what it means though, Carla. Excuse me. Here we go right here with audio. Yes. Excuse me. Okay, it's about a half-minute long. So yeah, I just caught it as the procession was going through the streets below me, and the groom is in white on a horse.
It's a wedding ceremony in the middle of a dust storm in India, in Jodhpur. And that's the bride there on the horse, I'm guessing. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and it just came out of nowhere in the middle of a freaking dust storm.
You know seeing that reminds me of how family oriented the Indians are, especially in India.
Mm-hmm.
They all tend to have at least medium-sized families, possibly even large families, compared to the West. And when things like that happen, you can easily get a group of people, 60, 70, 80 people in no time.
And all be your immediate family or close family. No kidding.
They all know each other.
That's true.
It's such a different culture than the West. They spend so much time together, and we spend so much time apart.
I should have taken about half of those photos and saved them for another time. We've been 3 hours, my friend. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. That could have been two shows and again more. But India is just I mean, it's not the most beautiful country I've ever been to, but it's one of the most memorable, and it was hard, man. That was a hard month. I had to escape up to the mountains, the Himalayas, after a couple of weeks, because it was just the noise and the smells and the overload on your senses.
Definitely.
And that was coming. I had lived in Tokyo at that point too, so that's coming from Tokyo for Christ's sake. So
Tokyo is probably a pretty clean, very almost sanitary country relative to the whole world. Really, is from what I've seen. The little part of it I've seen, and India is going to be. India is pretty much going to be the opposite end of the spectrum, so it's understandable.
And it was just nice to be up in the Himalayas. Time flies when we're having fun. You're right, Kiva.
Yeah, it didn't feel like nice 3 hours.
Because in Ladakh, in Leh, a lot of the Tibetan people, they weren't asking for money for every little thing, so I could relax. So if you're in India and you want to relax, I mean, people went south to the beaches in Goa, but there was a lot of tourists there, so I went north to the Himalayas. And glad I did.
You didn't. We'll talk next time we do an India show. We'll talk about Goa. I've been to Goa.
I was hoping you had because I have
Mm.
no photos from Goa. I've not been there.
Yeah, it's you didn't really miss much. Well, I kind of wonder if when I was there, it wasn't the party season, which I think is cyclical, throughout the year, and I think I missed
Okay.
it. But
Okay. Yeah.
nonetheless, though, I did go out adventuring on my own every day, and
Hmm.
memorable enough that even what 2008, so 14 years later, if that's right, I still
Yeah.
remember something like that. I still remember a lot of it, a lot of these little tiny scenes in my head. I mean, you're right. The
The
whole
same here.
country, yeah, the whole country. It's such an impactful experience that it just
Hmm.
burns images in your head of the experience all over the place. Places like India.
Ooh, do you mind reading this from Carla, please? Before
Carla
we.
Burton says, I went to Europe for a few weeks, Holland mainly. Ooh, yes. And I just got sick of seeing
Nice.
people everywhere. I'm used to New Zealand. Yeah, I love Holland.
Mm,
Beautiful place to see, though. In Europe,
I love it.
if you gotta pick one place, that's a place to go.
Yeah, I've been there 5 times. I loved it.
Oh wow, nice.
Well, it was a hub because
Yeah,
going through Poland
to
or Germany down through France, it's a travel hub.
yeah.
And you know what? I did not smoke weed the first 4 times I was there. I swear to God, I didn't touch it for the first 4 times I was there.
I'm trying to think
But
of the. We
I
always
was
land in
too busy going
ski.
to museums. I was doing
Yeah,
museums and everything.
a lot of
Incredible.
museums in Netherlands, and Schiphol is the hub of the whole European Union as far as
Mm.
airports are concerned. You want to land in the middle somewhere, you land in Schiphol, and then from there branch off into Belgium
I
or
I love
London or
Belgium.
wherever you want to go. Yeah,
Well,
Belgium
yeah,
was
I'd
cool. Been to
I'd
Belgium.
love to have you on for Belgium and
Yeah,
Amsterdam maybe too then. Okay, great.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I'm
but
surprised
I
we haven't crossed paths somewhere traveling
well, we probably
around the
did.
globe.
We probably did and never saw each other.
We
But
didn't know.
I gotta apologize. Like 3 hours on. Last week we did this for 3 hours. That was with Rod, and we had excuse. There was three of us. We're like on and on and on. That was a lot
Yeah.
of fun. But I hope we're not
No,
killing
this is
the
just
audience.
and it's not that many photos really. How many? 91. So I usually have under 100, so it's only 91 photos. But it's just a lot to cover. It's a huge
Yeah,
country. I was a Vondenberg, but now I've been a Burton longer. Ooh, okay, Carla. Little back history. Me and my kids have dual citizenship.
oh,
That
nice.
is so cool.
Very,
You mean
very
you're
nice.
half Dutch? That is awesome. The Dutch treats are delicious. They really are. The shortbreads and so forth, they're sweet. Anyway, my friend, it is 2:30 in the morning. This is ridiculous.
We got to stop meeting like this.
I know. Man, I'd love to travel somewhere with you. You seem like you've been around and you're a similar kind of traveler to myself. So maybe
One of
we'll
the, one
do a
of these,
stream somewhere, man.
yeah, one of these days. I've been dormant for about the last 10 years, and really getting sick of
Hmm.
my life because of that. So I will be on
Hmm.
the move again this year, and I figured that
Perfect.
once I get moving, it's easy to get back home and become sedentary again, and just
It
you know
is.
and become comfortable, and then you get set in projects, and blah, I don't have the time, and blah blah blah. But once you get going again, then you suddenly go, I don't want to. None of
Ooh.
that crap ever mattered. Let's keep going.
Well, I think we
Yeah,
have a local guide in New Zealand if we go,
that
by the
that'd be
sounds of it.
awesome. That'd be great.
Carla, thank you. And Carla
Love to
says
see
it's
New
only
Zealand.
9:30. Carla, it was 9:35 hours ago, okay? I'm telling you. Great stream, William and Canadian Spider-Man. Well, thank you.
And a
Thanks.
great
Thanks for
audience
coming.
tonight too. Look at it. We have like 8 people still, and
Thank
they've
you.
been with us the whole time.
I
It's
know.
great.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much to everybody. I know I'm going to miss someone, but I try to at least recognize Primo Living, Stark of Iron, Miskatonic. You've been here the whole time. Rod, Thunder, Heart, all of you. PvP, thanks for being here. Suzanne Eckstein, all of you guys, thanks a lot. Really happy to have you here, William Shakespeare. Thanks for doing this. And
Yeah.
on that note, join us next Thursday. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us for such a long night. It's such a hell of an interesting country, and we'll do a part two as well. 4 a.m. for me. Perpetual cycle of insomnia and messed up sleep schedule. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry to hear that,
Yeah.
Kevon 6.
Yeah, me
I
too.
recommend whiskey and weed.
I have the
On
same
that
problem
note,
as Keep on 6. Yeah.
Next Thursday, what plans? Ooh, you know what? This Sunday, I'm doing a special Japan talk with our friend Fermented Cinema,
Nice.
who lives in Japan. He'll be
Yeah.
streaming from Japan. It'll be right here
Nice.
on this channel. And this Sunday evening, I think around 7 p.m., we'll do just an extra little stream about Japan. And then next Thursday, I'm trying to line up that 70s rock fan to do Scotland or London next Thursday. And Dad Man, I'm looking at you. I'd like to stream about Vietnam with you, sir. And William, we have lots of places to discuss. I know I'd like to have you host with China would be fantastic if you could.
Yeah, I do want to do China. I do want to host China, and there's so much to talk about China.
There is.
I'm hoping that I haven't gone through my photos. I did look at my photos. I haven't gone through them, but I know that I had photos of my first trek on the Great Wall. So
fantastic.
I hope I've got those, because I remember again the scenery. I remember scenes of that when I was standing on the thing, just thinking to myself, this is bizarre.
Yep, incredible.
So I really want to share that. I hope I've got those photos. So
I've got a photo of on the Great Wall myself, wearing a construction hard hat and holding a stone hammer, looking like I'm working. I'm not.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Anyway, that's the following next couple of Thursdays where we've got a lot of places to talk about.
So
Thanks
this
for being here.
This coming Sunday night, you're doing Japan. Fermented
coming
Cinema. What
with
time do you think
Fermented
you're?
Cinema.
What time? What time do you think you're going?
7 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we agreed to 7 p.m. Pacific, and he's gonna have a lot of. It's gonna be a lot of the southern parts of Japan, because that's the part that he's familiar with. So, yeah, look forward to everyone being there, and then next Thursday, we'll hopefully Scotland or London. We'll see.
Wow.
Thanks for being here, everyone, and thank you, Tony. And I'm glad you're getting work done. Excellent. I'm glad you're getting parody songs done, Tony. You're good at it. I like listening to your stuff. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Spider-Man. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us so long tonight.
Yep. And don't forget, you're never too old to backpack.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna be doing it.